YKTR Sports Nation, welcome back. It is Origin time, joined as always by producer Jackson, Skipper Scope, and the big dog OG. He's back, Willie Mace. Welcome back, bro.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We'll just roll straight into it, Jacko? Let's just go. Fucking talk Origin. Yeah. Let's go.
Let's rip. Yeah, we kind of don't have too many topics. Obviously, the biggest one is just the Origin teams ahead of the game on game 2. So New South Wales is the big one. We'll start with them, Mace. Kind of just wanted to get your reaction, I suppose, off the jump to the changes. The big ins, Matty Burton, Talakai, Jakey Turbo, Crichton to right centre, and obviously Appy starting over Cookie, and then your boy Ice Fox missing out again. So let's just talk a bit of New South Wales, mate.
I think I agree with the changes. I don't think we selected the team in the first game. You don't get trampled in the middle like that. You know, you pick. I would have picked and stuck with Paulo starting. Campbell Gillard started. That's a big job. He has been out of the Origin arena for like 3 or 4 years. Paulo's been in there for 3 or 4 years. It's a big thing. Jakey Trbojevic he hasn't missed a tackle. There's a stat from 20 to 20. He hasn't missed a tackle in Origin.
Is that a stat?
That's a stat. Why don't you just make that shit up? You can't just make that shit up. It's a weird stat. Yeah. So he would have blocked the middle up. You wouldn't have dudes like Carrigan running 190 metres on you. Seriously, like kids.
That's pissed you off, eh?
That's pissed me off because, like, if I'm a starter, you know what I mean, or if I'm playing, if you're a vet in that New South Wales team, and the dude who's his first Origin runs 190 on your pack, I bet that kid don't get over 100 metres this week. If he does run on Sunday, I'll buy a Carrigan Origin jersey and wear it, and I'll wear it at the third because I think guys like Ruben Cotter, fair enough, I'll give them their flowers. Yeah, they played great, but we allowed them to play great. You know what I mean? Our forwards,
that was the difference, wasn't it, at the bench?
Our forwards just didn't show up like a proper Origin. You know, we didn't
on your home ground
too. We didn't flex our muscle, man. We didn't flex it. You know, like we had a chance to do it, and we just didn't. Fair enough to Queensland. Fair game. They played well. You know, Munster was on fire. You know, even Cherry Evans played good. Ben Hunt, Harry Grant. You know, they got that's where we go into the Appy Coruscant, Cookie thing. I called it last week. I said I would start Appy because of what they did when Ben Hunt started and then Harry Grant come on and just boiled the ruck. And when you're on there and it's just you're not getting anything done, you're missing tackles and like people keep finding their front. It's just like a whirlwind, man. It doesn't stop. It's awful.
It's a vicious cycle.
That's why you need guys like Jake Trbojevic. When he hits, you get hit. You get stuck.
And you can even force an error.
Yeah,
you can force an error, Jake.
He's just one of those guys, man. He doesn't stop. He doesn't stop hitting. His technique is out of this world. But you start Appy, the combinations he has with Isaiah Yeo, Cleary, obviously that whole Penrith connection, and even like with you got Crichton on the right. They're stacked. I think it's eight starters or something like that.
Seven. You count Burton as well.
Burton's like that. And then you go. If you tell Cook, you go, all right, Cook. Instead of playing 80 every single Origin and just getting run at about 60 times, I'll give you 40 minutes. Go as hard as you can. As soon as Appy sets that tone, our boys set that tone, the junior Paulos and Jake Trbojevic and that set that tone in the middle, you come on and blast the ruck. That would be their game plan. Because they've still got rookies in their team. Like Ruben Cotter, fair enough, he had played good game 1, but it is a 3-game series. See how they go. This will be the proper test.
I've got a controversial one for you, Mace. I thought about this when they named the squad, and a lot of people weren't happy with him being in there based off of the reason to leave Latrell out. I like the addition of Victor Radley. I would like to have seen Victor Radley in there because he's only got to give you 25 or 30 of the best off the bench anyway.
It's him or Talakai. Who would you rather?
See, between Talakai and Angus Crichton, I would have picked Radley over either of them. Okay. And then if you decide whatever your flavour is with Talakai or Crichton, whether you want that edge back rower,
similar players, right?
Yeah, they're still going to play edge.
If you chuck Crichton on the edge, or at centre, he'd do a job at Origin because he's quick and powerful. Talakai's the same. He only plays left centre because of injuries. I think he's a pure back rower. Yeah. I know at the start of his career when he was 17-year-old, he debuted on the wing. I don't think he was that big. You know what I mean? So he's still got that athleticism to play anywhere. But as you said, Crichton and Talakai, similar sort of players.
Yeah.
If you look at it, like obviously like the running of Talakai is in the front of everyone's mind. Like, oh my God, he's a beast, this and that. Crichton's still like that, but Victor Radley brings a different element. I'm a big fan of Victor Radley. That's why Isaiah Yeo got the jump on him because 2 or 3 years ago the kid got injured. Yeah. And Isaiah Yeo just kept going. Penrith kept going good. Yeah. Jake Trbojevic was still in there and Cam Murray was still there.
I think that body shape's really important. The Radley, quick on your speed.
That's why I love it as well.
Yeah, so you go Carrigan and Cotter. They're like a little bit smaller than your typical Origin front rowers. But when the game's so much quicker now.
You can't have those big bodies that can't bend their back and be agile and fit. And, these guys are beasts, you know what I mean?
You don't need that against Cotter and Harry Grant. You need someone low that's going to fucking be on the same level, dip a little bit, and drive
You would have
through 'em.
I called it at the start of the year. I said Ruben Cotter looks like an Origin player, a Queensland Origin player. He
Yeah.
wouldn't even be in our top 50. That's the way we roll in New South Wales. He wouldn't be in New South Wales.
Why?
I just swear because we just don't look at players like that. Because
Yeah,
we've got
that's
Cam
so
Murray,
true,
we've got
eh?
Isaiah
Yeah.
Yo's, we've got all these locks and all that kind of stuff. But that's from the Dallas Johnson mould. That's from the Billy Moore mould. Guys who don't be outstanding for Australia or anything like that, play great for their club, give them a Queensland jersey, turn them into fucking He-Man. That's what happened.
Talakai, how do you play him? When does he come on? Where does he come on?
That's
the thing,
I
yeah.
don't think, do you go, okay, Crichton, have a, not Angus, the other Crichton, Stephen Crichton, have a rest. He's going to play centre. Do you play him in the middle? Do you play him at 9? Do you play him that's where we could pick Radley.
Yeah.
And can Freddie still go and pull a little Swifty, Victor Radley in after you name your side?
I think you can. Can you?
I think you got an hour or something before the game.
You've got an hour before the game. The concern, I think, with
Sure.
Bradley is he hasn't played a game since round 10.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
he's
that's
one of
what I
those
mentioned,
dudes
Jacko,
who's
you
just
don't-
like, he'd
you
come
don't
back,
even-
kick your ass in fitness when you've been
Fucking
doing 3 preseasons in a row.
He's one of those guys. He's got an engine. He's a fucking aggro C. He's going to, fuck a cunt. He's going to rip in. He's going to bash him through the middle. He only has to play 20, 25
Yeah,
minutes.
man.
Josh Papali'i played 25 minutes. Lindsay Collins, we all think he
I
had a
reckon
fucking-
Josh was less.
We all think Lindsay
First
Collins.
16 and
No,
the
it's-
last 6 is
It was
what
like
he said.
22 minutes. We all think Lindsay Collins had a really good origin as well for him off the pine. And he played 35 of the best.
Follow up.
And it was quality, wasn't it?
Yeah, Bradley can come on.
Did he
and-
only play 35?
He only played 35 minutes, man. And you think when you think about it, I went and looked at it too before I was coming on to say, to back up my point with playing Radley. 10 minutes, mate. As you know, we've
Man, 10 minutes before half time.
10 minutes
so
before half
important
time
in this game.
10 or 15 minutes to set the tone again in the second half, and then take him off and finish off with guys like
Imagine
Jakey.
if you had,
Was that,
if
yeah,
you put
Cam
Cook
Murray.
on, you put Victor on,
Oh.
and you put Junior Paulo on.
Yeah.
In that last 15.
All quick,
Blast the
eh?
ruck. Junior Paulo second phase. Teddy just around the back, connect with the outside backs. Boom, boom. Hit like they did last year. The difference was we had Latrell and Turbo sitting on edges going.
Yeah.
And then it spread the defence because
Yeah.
you're shitting yourself. Stags and that, they didn't do that because they don't have that threat of scoring a 100-metre try or setting that next play up. So they'll jam in and then they'll slide to the line. Turbo and Latrell, they've got to respect that. You know what I mean? I don't think they respected it.
Yeah.
I don't think they respected our centres.
your-
I thought Jackie Boy played
sure.
outstanding. Why is he got COVID? or
COVID.
something?
Yeah.
He was
To
the
your-
best player.
To your point as well, and just sort of backing it up and going over it again, Jacko, Paddy Carrigan ran for 190 metres. If I was Freddie and I had Victor Radley on the bench, I'd wait until Paddy
Tear his
Carrigan
head
grabbed
off.
a card, and then go, as soon as he grabbed a card, send down a message and go,
Walker's on.
He does
Send on
not
Radley
make
now.
a meter. You know what I mean? Like that's that. And
I love
know-
Paddy Carrigan
I know
too, but
nothing but respect for these Queenslanders.
I want to see that contact.
I want to see massive heads getting blown back. You know what I mean? And who can do that? I think Jake can do it easily.
Yep.
Cam Murray's good at it. Like Isaiah Yo's a decent tackle, but he's not going to blow your head off.
Yeah, if I'm a half and I'm looking
Payne
at
Haas
Isaiah,
can.
I'm
I think-
not scared of
I want to see
running
Payne
it.
Haas angry.
How do you get him angry?
Not sure. He's just got. I think these last Origin performance pissed him off. I think that's just embedded in him. To just his performances is just all on him.
So I-
he's not that sort of dude before games where he's going to be going like a Marco Mealy, where you can just go run into that brick wall.
Some
for me,
guys
please.
just aren't, eh?
He's
Some
not
guys
like that,
just-
bro. He's
just-
all about. He's all about just.
And that's
He
why he
just
can
don't
play
do
80. That's why he can play 80 as well.
Yeah,
He's
but
not
he's
emotional.
Yeah, he doesn't get emotional about it.
What
He's
was
just all about that.
You know? Sort of reminds me a bit like, I don't know what he's like in the sheds. What was Roy Azatazi like? Was he a
Like that,
rah-rah
yeah.
guy? No, I can't imagine him being that guy. Just go out
He'll
and
still
just
shot
do a
you though.
job.
He'll still shot you.
Yeah,
Roy.
but like
No, but Razzle will shot. Like, so will Payne. But I mean, like before games, Razzle was just real coy.
chill.
Yeah,
that's-
and like you'd say shit, you'd be like, is this sinking in? Especially his first like 20, especially his first like 10 games. You're like, this kid's a beast, and he's
Yeah.
like, you tell him, you're like,
Yeah, he's
and
just
then he'd
like,
go
yeah,
out
whatever.
and destroy the whole pack, and I'm like,
Yeah.
he listened. Yeah, I think he listened, boys. He just ran 200.
I heard Gordy Tallis was pretty vocal about Katoni Staggs getting drops and Matt Burton coming in, and I know Katoni's a physical presence, but we talked about this earlier that Katoni always waits for the game to come for him, and sometimes in Origin it doesn't come.
It won't come.
It won't come. Where I look at someone like Burton, and that edge has a lot more versatility now. What's your thoughts on the difference between them two?
I think that as well. I think Katoni Staggs is a future Origin player. He had his chance. I still don't think he deserved to get dropped.
Yeah, I agree.
I think maybe the injury sort of thing over
He
him.
was
we
just
end up-
starting to get into it, and then he had
but
that
as you
little-
said, like when you're coming out of yardage, he needs to go, give me the ball.
Mm.
You're not going to get all that pretty ball in Origin. You know, you want those guys coming out of yardage. Remember the Greg Inglis's and Darius Boyds and Hodjos and that. They like it dirty. You know what I mean? Like they come out, they want that contact with the big guys. They try and move you around a lot. I want Katoni to have 20 touches a game. I don't want less than 10. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and you're not going to get that quality out ball with your left palm and your this and that, and then you get the offload and that. It might happen, but you got to force it. You know, you got to get in there and just get the ball. Especially like that whole game was like us coming off our line. It was awful.
They never look likely.
You rely on it on your back five. You need that. But you need that back five. You need like Teddy played outstanding again. You had Toto and Tupou running over 200 meters. All three of them running over 200 meters. The back three, two centers. Jack played good. I thought he was our best outside back. Yeah. And then Katoni. Yeah. And he was probably the lesser of all five of them because he didn't get that clean ball. Left to right pass. No one wants to nail that in an Origin.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's a risky thing. So he needs to get in there a lot tighter and just say, just get off the 7 or something when you're coming out of yardage. Just figure out a way to get the ball because I want him to get the ball.
A lot of time when you're talking about that out ball, when you get behind the ball, it's tackle 2 or 3 anyway. You don't want to be stuck on the sideline singing an out ball.
And next minute, Cleary might kick on the 4th.
Yeah.
So you're back. So you're back and it happens real quick and you might kick on the 4th 4 or 5 times. So it takes you out of the game. It's 10 or 15 minutes. Because Origin, you just look at the clock going, what? 20 gone already? Or is there 2 gone? You know what I mean? Like, it's the difference. Like, there's 2 minutes gone. Why is my heart rate at 220? Subs, Gus, come on.
Yeah, I feel a bit bad for him in the sense because I'm the same. I think he's I think he's an Origin player and I think he's going to be – I know he's still young. It'll set him back a little bit because confidence-wise, playing for Tonga this week rather than playing in this game. He declared that he wanted to play for Origin over Tonga as well. But the thing is, I really thought he showed a little – just enough in that last 2 or 3 minutes, and then he had that contact with. Obviously, it hurt Coates. Coates ended up obviously not a part of this game as well, and he missed the game against the Broncos. So
really, who's on the wing for Queensland?
Murray Tuilagi
from Cowboys.
Magic Murray.
Gun.
Yeah,
he's got some skills. That kid. Hopefully, you don't have to showcase it in Origin. He's a freak.
Yeah, he's good.
Big body as well. Good under the high ball. Like he's a good kid.
Katoni will be good.
Before we
he'll be back.
Move off Matty Burton, the biggest thing you spoke about after game 1 was the pressure on Nathan's.
Sorry, not just say with Birdo, he's left centre, right?
Yeah. He's going to play left
centre. So Katoni was right.
Yeah.
They're going for combinations. That's it. Crichton plays right centre in his at Penrith.
Yeah, with Nate.
It's all about combinations. That's all they're going for. Continuity, combinations, just to get this second game.
Does Burton
got to get it?
Does he give them another kicking option, or is it hard to be a kicking option?
Yes,
from
he
centre?
does. He does.
100%.
Yeah, you can have a
kicker.
pass. Yeah.
If you're ever down his edge, if it's just say if they have a long shift and they get back, just say to the left post, just over the numbers. If he's on that left side, he'll punt it down. And the kicks that he was putting on the weekend, he was putting them on a dime. So he's a great option because they're going to be putting kick pressure on Cleary massively. Yeah, sure. Luai, massively. I reckon he's the second option. I think coming out of yardage, I think Luai will set out a little bit wider, give it to Burton so we can put one of those skyrocket torpedoes up.
And you can do it off of 2 passes as well. Remember Jamie Lyon used to do that.
But but Luai will just jump out a little bit, especially coming out of yardage. If we're getting jammed.
He's a team guy too.
You need that dude, man. Luai will do that. He'll get on the kick chase, Burton will get on the boot. Yeah. It has to happen because he's a better kicker than everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone.
And you can even play attack. So just say if they get to that position that you're talking about, Mace, where they get to a left post, if they got 4 and 4, they can look to run, and what they'll do is hold up Murray or I think Selwyn Cobbo's on the right. That way he can't drop back into that pendulum.
Yeah.
And then
hook it back.
have a crack, and then if it's not on, Selwyn Cobbo ends up coming up, then roll it in behind him.
Yeah, roll it in behind him.
Nice
one.
We just need to build pressure.
Yeah.
We didn't build pressure at all. We left Queensland off the hook so many times. Cleary had an off game. He understands that. Luai had an off game. Watch what they do, man. They've got balls, these kids, you know what I mean? They've been around, they've got pride. Everyone's got pride. You want that second crack. That's why I was more interested in watching Katoni in the second game because he'd be pissed off. Payne Haas, pissed off. Junior Paulo, pissed off. Every single middle who played last in that first game who gets an opportunity now is pissed off. So that's why game 2s are so brutal.
Question. I'm looking at the Queensland side and I'm looking at their coaching staff. You got the fucking big dogs and they're only recently retired. Yeah, when I look over the other side, like if Freddie and Joey told me and Scoboard,
and Joey's not even in camp.
He's not even in camp.
It's Freddie and Brandy.
Danny Baderis and Brandy. Like I played at Penrith and I only saw highlights because Ivan used to bring him up as well. And I respected that he was a good player, got Dally M, all that sort of stuff. But that, in my mind, that seems so far ago. When you're in a Queensland camp and you look up and you've got GI there. You've got JT there, you've got Cam Smith, and Billy Slater's your fucking coach.
Arguably the greatest in their position or top 3 ever.
And the hard thing about this is like New South Wales can't really grab any recent guys because no one had the sustained success that they had.
I said that last time.
You're not going to bring Joshua Reynolds in.
No, you're not going to do that because then when they walk around camp and Cobbo looks at GI and GI says, you do this. Yeah, you say jump how high. Now you got Nate Miles in there as well. So all these forwards, they want that recognition and they want to get that tap on the shoulder. good work, kid, after the game. So that's that mentality that Queensland have. And Queensland, even though we've been dominating in the last 3 or 4 years, they've been expecting to win these pricks. They expect to win. As soon as they put that Queensland jersey on, the expectation is they don't really give a shit about the team. You're expected to win because it's driven by the players. The JTs that come into camp, the Cam Smiths, the Billy Slaters in the last 3 or 4 years have been putting that culture up. Now they're actually part of the system and part of the coaching staff 24/7. And you're around these guys. If you're Harry Grant, even Ben Hunt, you're talking to Cam Smith about this. If you're the fullback, you've got the greatest players in camp, and they've just only retired.
Yeah, I've seen some micro on the Queensland Maroons for the lead up. It was a captain's run. JT puts a ball down on the ground, 35 metres out. He starts grabbing all the boys. They're all just finishing captain's run, finishing the extras.
Lobster.
Who's got a lobster? Who's got, 20, 50, what do we got, boys? Brings the whole fucking squad around. By the end of it, fucking Cam's there as well. Billy's there.
They get all competitive.
They're all competitive. They're all talking about like who's going to take on JT, and then he kicks it, hits the crossbar, and then everyone starts fucking cheering whether you lost or won.
And that's what they don't even go to kick it.
Imagine being fucking Harry Grant
but they don't go to kick it.
Xavier
He's like,
Coates and that,
hit
just
the
watching
crossbar.
that.
You know what I mean? It's like, don't just, would be trying to just kick it over. He's like, hit the left crossbar and reverse sweep it. Like, what the hell? Now, that plays a big part. It does.
Before we move off coaching, Mace, before we move off New South Wales, the narrative that Freddie is being a little bit too reactive. So people criticised he picked Tupou and to counteract Coates, and now he's gone with the Appy Cook to counteract Ben Hunt and Harry Grant. Is that?
I think it's smart. I think it's smart from Freddie. He's been proactive instead of sticking to his own plan. He knows what sort of plan can work. He saw the Ben Hunt, Harry Grant thing. It works.
It flies.
It works. It flies. And if I've got Damien Cook and I've got another guy called Appy Carousel, who's pretty much the top 3 hooker. So they're like, you pick Harry Grant, Appy and Cook. They're the top 3 hookers.
Yep.
I want those 2 in the team. I don't care how it works. I'm just going to make it work. So I give kudos to Freddie for doing that. I don't care. All the other changes, they're all warranted. Because what happened in game 1, we got embarrassed through the middle. That's always going to happen. You can't have that.
Can they roll into this game too emotional? Short turnaround?
I don't think there's ever too much emotion in Origin. I mean, unless you're an unemotional player.
Yeah.
Just say like Payne Haas is unemotional, and the next minute he wants to go crazy and just do some dumb shit. I don't think you do that because you understand if you come out and be an idiot, you get sent off. You know what I mean? There's a fine line now. I mean, like, there's no fighting, shoulder charges. There's going to be some brutal, proper tackle tech hits.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when Cam Murray, who'll play 80 minutes, hopefully on that right edge. The combinations, when he come on last time, then they started scooting down that right edge. That brought Tony Staggs into the game.
Yeah.
When Cam Murray got on, because Liam Martin's more of a bash and barge sort of player. He got early ball. He doesn't know what to do with it. He doesn't do the block plays and all that kind of stuff around the back with Teddy and all that kind of stuff. Cam Murray does. So it'll open the field up.
Does the style of Queensland that they played through the juniors make their halves a lot better than New South Wales? So we talk about this a lot. So you got Sammy Walker coming through, Reece Walsh. Besides Nathan Cleary and Jerome Luai, they've come from a super structured system, best nursery, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Is that style of football they play up there just better suited for Origin?
It must be. Because I think maybe even suited for the NRL. Like I don't see anyone coming and pushing Cleary out in the next 10 years for New South Wales. Moses is done. Like he had his chance. Brooks is done. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I wouldn't say he's done.
Done. You're going to play never play Origin again.
You don't reckon?
No, never.
No. Unless
they'll put Luai at halfback. They'll do something. He will never play again.
I'd have Burton as my next choice half over
at 6.
Moses.
Maybe.
Whiten's still there.
Whiten, yeah.
Yeah, but like just say where's that next Sam Walker coming up? Where's the Sam Walker coming up? That's what I'm saying. So it must be. It's obviously something to do. Me being a part of the Bulldogs and stuff, knowing being part of development. I can see it not happening. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have any young kids in the whole New South Wales that's pushing for that, 16 to 19 years old. I don't see it. And it must be the nursery up there. It must be the way that they play football is a little bit more expansive, a little bit more less structure.
Yeah.
Everything, what happened with this is obviously digressing massively into development. It's like, it's so frustrating because these kids come through this clinic where it's block for a block for a block. It ruined the game. You know what I mean? Like, it ruined the game because the natural sevens, like, if I'm, just say Cooper Cronk, he was the most structured halfback, so everyone just went, be like that because Melbourne's so successful. If I'm like, be like JT, be like Joey. They're more natural halves. Cooper Cronk was one of those halves he was a makeshift half, manufactured halfback. And he just worked his ass off and his work ethic. If you're going to copy anything from him, his work ethic. Yeah. That's about it. Don't copy the way they play because that's how Melbourne plays. You know, block for blocks, it worked for them. Hoffman on the edge, Billy around the back, GI, Falau, all this kind of shit. Ridiculous team. Everyone done their job. Everyone has a different culture, but everyone copies off Cooper Cronk, that sort of thing, because he's the latest sort of halfback to be real dominant. Because in the last, just say 6-7 years, JT was probably playing 5'8" at Origin. You know, he's sort of switching in and out with Morgan and all that kind of stuff. So I never really see JT play at his peak at 7. Just these young, impressionable kids that would have been about 10 years old. So it's hard to put your finger on, but as I said, like, lucky we have Cleary.
Yep.
We are so lucky. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think the Prince is going to
back to my main point. Yeah,
the way he bounced back in that Newcastle game was super impressive, wasn't it?
Yeah. Even guys like Junior Paulo, you can see how pissed off he was on the wheel. He ran over 200 metres.
Why can't they just round 1, first game of Origin, you're on your home ground? Where was that?
I don't understand.
Yeah,
this is what I don't understand. You know what I mean? Like, because I played there and I know how much emotion comes with playing Origin first game. You know the series is on the line, because if you lose this game, we're right here now talking about this shit under the pump instead of going, yeah, we got Perth in the bag. We'll talk about Suncorp game 3. You know what I mean? Like, now we're right under the pump. That's what's up to the coaches. That's why you got to have great coaches. You got to have good people around. You got to have a great culture, a winning culture, and understanding what position you're in. You go over there, get it done, even the series up. Not relax, but just a little bit. It ain't going to be embarrassing, because if we lose this one, the sweep is on big.
Yeah, they'll sweep.
Freddie's already started planting the seed too, so he said a couple of things with regards to the refereeing. Said they were too nice. I think Brandy said they were too nice around the ruck. Queensland,
it's going to be fireworks. I can tell it. I've been in this position before. You come out, if you get dominated by that other team in the ruck, if you're one of those dudes, heads are rolling.
Yeah, they said Queensland hung in there a little bit more. They didn't really blow the whistle. And he said,
about wrestling and shit?
He said Grant Atkins is the better referee, and I think Ashley Klein got it again.
One thing.
Klein got it again.
Yeah, Klein got it again. And he goes, I don't know why he's doing it, because Grant Atkins is. So is Freddie playing these little mind games to see, like.
Yeah, everyone wants to bite them.
Ashley Klein gives him that 50-50, goes, I'm better than fucking Grant Atkins. 10 of the best.
Fourth tackle.
I think one thing that was slipped on with the Maroons game in that first one is how quick they were getting up, and Munster was always out the line. But if you always looked at the Panthers shape with Isaiah Yao, where he was running the block shakes, there was plenty of times where he was like had to dummy because the boys were so far up ahead of the ball and diving, and it fucked up all their sort of shape, and they couldn't quite figure it out.
The timing wasn't in.
They couldn't figure it out.
The timing was off. And I think I can see why Isaiah Yao's timing was off.
He's knocked
pumped.
out. Yeah, he's knocked out.
In the first set, like, you know what I mean? What are you doing?
He got knocked out.
Why trying to tackle Big Papa like that?
I think Papa caught him out. Like,
oh, man, he just got him off the right foot. He just caught him sleeping like that. I was like, oh, should he go off? And no, please, no. I was just sitting there. That was the first contact. I was like, oh, he's fucked.
Yeah.
He's rattled. I said, that could ruin our whole rotation up in the middles and the combination.
It did. It threw him, man. I reckon his
timing,
timing,
because his timing would have been off. Just say that our lead runners, they might have been on time where Yo might have been behind, and I'm tipping Yo would have been behind.
Yeah, I'm saying
it's the first 10 minutes, man. You're not really going to fuck your timing up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That guy might have been tripping a little bit.
Thing with Papa though, when you look at him front on and he turns side on, it's the same width.
Wall.
Yeah. It's the same width. Like scary.
I have not seen Isaiah Yao make a bad read, tip him on whether he plays short, out the back. He even dropped the ball a couple of times. I don't think I've ever seen him make an error in the last 18 months.
Yeah.
So it was definitely affected him. He was knocked out.
And those, as I said, we talked about it in game 1, those combinations where I thought Isaiah Yeo through the middle with Paulo and all that sort of stuff, all that sort of stuff. Then you mix the starting lineup. I'm like, fuck. Like who's going to be running those block plays, like the other block players, like Cam Murray's not going to be doing it. It's only going to be one person doing it.
Yeah.
And then I said, that just ruined the rotation up. Then Paulo has to come on and chase his tail and we're already behind. Like, I want Paulo to start games, man. Unless you're going to start Jake and you got Payne Haas.
If you, in this game, worst case scenario, something happens to Yeo again, well, obviously, I hope it doesn't. Do you think Jakey can play that role for him?
Yeah. Jakey plays that every week, man. Like he does.
I just want people to know because it's coming from Mace.
Jake.
People think I'm biased towards Jakey.
No, Jakey's got that skill in him. Just because he doesn't move as quick as Isaiah Yeo, he still has. He gets the exact amount of width from the 9. Yeah. He can get at the C-man, dig him, get Junior Paulo, run those outside end lines, hit Teddy out the back, hit Cleary out the back.
He probably just doesn't have the leg drive post contact meters.
Yeah.
That's it.
And it's like, but he, how strong he is.
Fucking
like, he can find his stomach. If worst case scenario, he gets quick play the balls. And that's all we want. We want quick play the balls. I want Cam Murray quick play the balls through the middle. Payne Haas quick play the balls through the middle. We've got some of the quickest play the balls in our starting pack right now. We need to get it done. So Appy can come out, play his little games, and then Cook comes on and just blasts that ruck. That'd be their plan, man.
We're about 25 minutes in and we haven't even really touched on Queensland.
Yeah,
this is always the case, isn't it?
Are they playing?
They're just so low key, aren't they? Is that just strategy or what?
Well, the Queensland changes in terms of what we would talk about. It's only Taulagi
force or injury
for Coates, and then obviously Jai Arrow in for Ruben Cotter.
Would you go Arrow or Flegler?
What's wrong with Ruben Cotter?
I would have gone Flegler.
Done his hammy and warm up against Manly.
Third game, yeah.
Oh, that sucks for that kid. So he's not playing.
No.
Jai Arrow's back in, yeah.
Well, Jai Arrow's been playing some decent football. He's an Origin player. He's another Origin player, but he doesn't have the skill set of Ruben Cotter.
Does anything change for Queensland in terms of preparation and game plan with those two guys, or that's just
No way they can slide because they were already in camp, I think. So they'll be running with the bees and coming in and giving them a rest and all that kind of stuff. Already knowing the plays. Jai Arrow's been there for a couple of years now.
5 or 6 years.
Yeah, Tuolangi, he just would have been watching. I think he was in there last year maybe just to come in and watch. That's why they pick these 22, 23-man squads. So the young kid who might be on the verge, if an injury happens like this,
they brought Reece Walsh in again.
Yeah, they brought him in.
Yeah, good on him. He's been playing well. He's been trying his guts out for the Warriors, so well deserved.
It's hard for him to,
That's the thing about Queensland. You don't feel like they're as deep, but you just feel like their selections, the next ones are obvious. In New South Wales, like he's out and we've got like 5 or 6 different options.
Yeah, so
we might have too many options.
The thing is,
it does. It hurts sometimes. And it's hard to get the right selection. That's why with Freddie's that's why I'll just pick and stick with the guys that I know that's done the job.
Yeah.
Instead of guys that have been out for like 3 or 4 years. Ryan Madison hasn't played one game and Campbell Gillard's been out for 3 or 4 years. Like when I got a Trebojevic who could just do that job straight away. And even like an Angus Crichton could do that job straight away. They're the ones I'd stick with game one just to make sure I got Origin players there. I don't give a shit if you've been killing club football. You got to pick Origin players, mate. And that's the difference. They know guys like Carrigan and Ruben Cotter would have slotted into that jersey easy. And they did. Our boys didn't.
Before we move completely off Origin, because we will break down the international games and then circle back.
Women's Origin as well.
Yeah,
Jacko.
Women's Origin.
That's tonight, isn't it?
Friday night. I'll get to it. I've got
I don't
something
even
to
know
say
what
about
day
it.
it is. I thought it was Thursday.
it feels like a Thursday, eh?
Mace, your thoughts on, you've probably spoken about it already, but on Fox missing out again, did you think that his last couple of weeks warranted selection, or would you have stuck with Tupou and Tor?
That's how you handle getting dropped for one.
Yeah, he's a boss, man. I love Fox. He's been so positive around the joint. It hurts him. It hurts. And I thought maybe it warranted him getting picked because of his energy in kick chase, where Tupou is pretty good on his, on his play twos and everything like that. But the energy on the kick chase where he can jam you down and just come from nowhere. Tupou doesn't have that energy. Like he just sort of lopes down there. He gets down there, but not with the Fox energy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's on all these little 1%ers, you know what I mean? That's Melbourne coming out in him. Like if they kick, he's that first one down there. He's in your face. He's pressuring you. He sprints. And he would get that inside man getting up off that line. The amount of energy that he produces and what he produces off the field as well is very important. But like his game in the last 2 weeks, he's been outstanding, and that's how you handle getting dropped. That's how you handle getting dropped like a boss, And so he's ready to go. He's ready to go if they pick him. Just saying in game 3, you know what I mean? Like he'd be ready for a game 3. But and that's only going to be for injury. You know what I mean? Like he's obviously he's going to wear it. Probably miss this year's series. And just keep on pushing.
See, for me, I would have picked Fox and Toto to begin with, but then again, Tupou didn't deserve to get dropped after game 1. Yeah. So it made it hard, didn't it? Like, as good as Fox was playing.
You know exactly what I'm talking about, where Fox's fucking energy is ridiculous, like on and off the field, but his kicks and his kick pressure, like everything like that, he pressures everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that little things like in Origin, you put pressure on the guys like Cobbo and all that, they can fumble.
Maybe like Freddie's always super reactionary of what the other team's doing because he picked Tupou purely because the boys are tall on the other side with Cobbo.
Always trying to be proactive in that occasion, but he's trying to.
I don't think Tupou deserves to
I
get
feel like
dropped.
that's more reactive than proactive. I reckon.
Just say
teams hadn't been picked.
If you're going to nitpick, just say if you're going to drop.
But
Tupou,
you know who Queensland's sides are. Like you just already know who they are.
Yeah, but you would assume that it's going to be fucking tall players with Oates for sure.
Oates.
Oates, Coates, all those guys.
If you're going to drop him, just say for little things when Ponga went short side and he just turned in. And he hit that ball home. It was man on man. You know what I mean? Payne-Haas comes off the line, B-lines for Ponga's inside shoulder. Cleary doesn't turn in. They don't turn in. It wasn't 4-on-3. It was 3-on-3. And just say, you either go for the intercept. I reckon Fox would have went for the intercept.
That's just footy, eh?
He would have went for the intercept, 100 metres, game over, we win the series 3-0.
As soon as I seen it, I'll watch it and I go, I have a feeling Fox would have tried to pick that and go to the house.
He would have picked it.
It might have been the same result, but he would have had a crack.
Because it's that rule. If you see your boy Cleary coming in, I've got to come in. So I'm like, go for that. If you're looking at Ponga going, I dare you. I'll dare you. Try and throw that ball. I'm going to get it.
Yeah.
That was
Playing black fella footy, man. Bang, straight to the house.
Don't throw long on the boys.
Don't ever throw long. Don't ever throw long. It would have hit it.
Someone told me that very early on.
Just don't come up with nothing, you know? And if you're going to nitpick and say you're going to pick Fox, I would just say on little things like that. Plus, we got beaten. He would have had every right, and everyone would have not cared if he had to pick Fox and drop Tupou.
And then there's not many times that you look at the Cherry Evans try where he walked one over. That one, they basically walked over.
The two tries weren't origin tries. Yeah. The two tries weren't. I'll give the Cobbo and Gags try because that's his freakish talent. You can't coach that shit. You can't coach against it defensively. But those other ones, the 3-on-3 down a short side, that's man on man.
Yep.
Rely on your marker. Crichton should have chased out hard, put more pressure on him. Payne Haas come off the line straight. Everyone hold the paint. That's it. Hold the paint. That's no trust.
If you look at the subtle differences in that KP try as well, if you looked up, he had Payne Haas on a 3 as well.
That's what I mean.
So yeah, you had your 4-man and your half in that thing, but he started to swoop late. And
but he started behind the play the ball, right? And then he saw Payne Haas and went, I'm going to come.
Super.
But if Crichton had to come out, I got your inside, Payne Haas can just go straight and beeline for him, cut his left foot off. Everyone else holds everyone holds pain. This is 101 defense. You know what I mean? Like, this is not hard. The other try at Cherry Evans, like throwing that dummy, like
that was bad.
What?
That was bad.
That's probably what that took Tarek Sims' job. You know what I mean? Because I thought Tarek was outstanding in that game. I was like, you didn't chase out that much. Like, he was sideways because he was just hedging his bets, going, Cherry's going to pass this. I was like, oh fuck, we have no lock or anyone coming from the inside. Like, I understand, like, you know, Junior Paulo getting hold. I would have broken Lindsay Collins' arm.
Yeah.
Hey, you remember?
Or I just would have acted like he had me in a choke. Oh, just fall down.
The thing is, too, obviously being mates with Ches as well, he was having a rough first half.
He had an awful first half. Don't rough it.
That kick-started him in the second half. That got him going, and once he was flowing, I was watching it at the time going, all right, Ches is on.
He was off.
That just put Ches into the game. Now Ches is on. Game over.
But that's what footy.
I feel that.
Footy players sometimes you like that.
Sure,
you know what I mean?
For sure, especially in big games like that.
And big players play. You know, they love that big thing. He would have seen Tarek come out like a bull and then went, wow. That's what you do.
Too,
that's what you do with prop. You hold for a little half a second like that. It means Cherry can get in. You know what I mean? Because the lock went the other side, and our other back row didn't cover it. And it's like, oh fuck.
Guys, let's take a quick break from the show. This content is brought to you by Guys, let's take a quick break from the show. This content is brought to you by Steady Freddy. Use our code YKTR15 for 15% off. On the show, we talk about people coming first. In the bedroom, you do not want to come first. These guys got the swipes. Get home from the nightclub, swipe it down so it's a little bit cleaner, or jump in the shower, up to you. And they got the delay spray as well. So, want to last longer in bed? Use our code YKTR15 for a better fucking world. Shout out Steady Freddy.
All right, let's break down the weekend's footy before we finish with Q&A and a bit more Origin chat. Scope, I know you want to touch on off the jump. The first game on Friday is the Women's State of Origin.
Yep.
A few points on that, but give me a little bit of breakdown on what we can expect in this one.
All right, first things first. I've been watching the women's game a little bit this year, mate. The levels are gone up. They're going really well. They started Origin 4 years ago.
You can dominate if you play.
What, go
trans?
Yeah,
go girls. Go trans and go.
Probably not.
No? I can dominate, I reckon.
So first things first.
Kezzy Apps.
She's a beast, bro. She's a beast. She can hit. And
Millie Boyle's big.
Some of them have just got their tackle technique from Jake Trbojevic. It's unfair.
See, the thing with the women's game as well, because they haven't developed that like little tip on or late footwork. The elite ones do, and it shows out.
Yeah.
But most of the time, it's off the back fence.
I love it.
They just like to fucking wind up and
like
go
a
straight.
Bumper or a spin or anything.
Yeah, so you get fucking Hannah Southwell in the middle who plays for New South Wales and Roosters, and she just fucking bends people like
she's the Jake Trbojevic of the WNRL.
Yeah, anyway, so I've really been enjoying the NRLW.
Why is it called NRLW? It should be WNRL. You know what I mean? Like WNBA.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Oh, yeah,
that's a nice little
NRLW.
What do they end up calling the Cowboys team? Stars,
yeah.
Yes, regional.
So the W.
Jeez, I really thought of that. Just sat down, think tank for about a week. Oh my, what are we going to call this team?
Let's look over at Texas.
Oh jeez. Yeah, go sorry.
The W. That's good stuff. Keep it going. The WNRL or the NRLW or the NRL, whoever put this game in Canberra. So Mace,
so bad.
Let's go back to when we were playing. The schedule comes out at the start of the year. One of the first things you look at, you want to go, all right, do we have Gold Coast away? Do we have Cowboys away? Beauty. We're gonna treat ourselves there. Probably after that, I go, fuck, are we playing Canberra away and when?
In winter.
Why are they playing the girls in Canberra in a state of origin with all the fucking politicians down in ACT. Like, it does not make sense. So I'm trying to get my head around. I'm going like, why would they do that? The poor girls are probably just going to have their like families and shit watching it there because off the back of how good the NRLW or the WNRL Mace has gone this year, like it's building nicely. They had a good turnout to the Redcliffe final up there.
That's where it should be.
Yeah, maybe do it up in
Sydney
Queensland.
Oval. North Sydney
North Sydney
Oval
Oval's been good tournament.
I got hammered the other year because I went, you girls should be playing before the men's.
Yeah.
So it
I
gets
think that
more
too.
Yeah, so do I.
So it gets more exposure. I'm all for. I'm a big advocate for the women's game.
Yeah.
What we can't stand alone, like from just say
is that
normal,
what
like
it
just
is?
fucking feminists and shit. I'm like, oh fuck, you don't get it, don't worry about
Yeah.
it. Delete. But I'm just like, I want them to play before Perth. Just say the whole of Perth don't really know WNRL.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then they play, and there's like 60,000 people just watching the girls just go hard. You know what I mean? Or they should be playing before every single Origin.
Yeah. I think
You know
they're
what I mean?
going
They should, and it's a series of 3. They only play 1 game.
Yeah, they're getting to 2 next year, but it should be 3.
Well, what the fuck's Origin if it's not 3 games? It's just a game for New South Wales. Don't call it Origin.
Yeah.
You know, just call it, oh, we've got a rep game this week. We're playing against Queensland. That's it. That's all we're doing. They should be playing before every New South Wales game.
Yeah, so obviously the standalone, it makes sense. I played residents.
So back to the Canberra. Just play it somewhere else.
Yeah, played away
Give
from
me somewhere
Canberra.
else.
Yeah. But
Put me
anyway,
fucking Suncorp.
mate, so I played before yous in 2000 and...
The 19s
Before-
games, those are cool to watch.
No, I
Yes.
played residents, New South Wales residents.
Even that's good.
And because it was a pleasure to play before you boys because one, yous are the big dogs, and we had 25,000 people at the game.
By the end of it, you're just going, oh,
Yeah,
I
so-
remember playing New South Wales
Yeah.
90s in 98.
Yeah, yeah. I was playing residents, and we had it was unreal. Mate, giving the girls that, obviously, I don't know where they stand with that. Internally, whether they
feel
want their
part
own
of the
little
system.
feel, but
You know what I mean? You feel part of the system.
I'd,
right?
I'd
You
be
feel
playing
like
them
the
before
next level's
Perth.
first grade, and then you look at New South Wales. That's my dream. You know what I mean? I remember playing for New South Wales under 18s and 19s. Going, fuck, we play before the big game. You're like, that's where I want to be. You know what I mean? Even though the girls aren't going to be playing the men's Origin, it's still they can still have that taste of like playing at an Origin arena with those fans,
Fuck
with
yeah.
everything like that. I think that's what Origin's about. It's about the energy, and it's about the whole camaraderie and all that sort of stuff. They need to be there. They need to be in camp with, just do this exact same things as New South Wales and Queensland players do.
Yeah. We watched Indigenous All-Stars game at the start of the year, Jacko?
That was mad,
and they had
yeah.
the girls before it. It was unreal.
Yeah, that's what I
They
mean.
were doing,
Something
they were
like
doing
that.
the haka before the boys come out.
We were proper into that.
It was like it was down our end. I'm fucking getting goosebumps watching the girls do it. Like,
But I don't
and we
understand
got there
what
and
is
watched a part of the game before we watched the boys. Like,
I think it's
for-
a big
and if-
deal. I think it's a big thing for these girls.
Yeah,
And then
for sure.
Obviously, you're going to get all these haters if you put that shit on Twitter and someone's like, oh, we're strong enough to stand alone. It's like, no, you're not. Otherwise, you would.
Yeah,
you know what I
100%.
mean?
I
Like, you'd
agree.
be standing alone and you're bringing in 30, 40,000 and you wouldn't be under the RLPA and all that sort of shit. You'd be just doing your own thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you're not.
They'll just feel more inclusive as well.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
think,
You
as
feel
well.
inclusive. You feel part of the system. You feel like you're part of the WNRL, which is the NRL. Everyone's together instead of you playing Canberra girls. You're one Origin.
Or worst
I
case
don't
scenario,
feel like
just
I'm
don't
part
play
of the
the
NRL.
Canberra.
I'm like,
I don't
you treat
feel-
me like shit. Why are you treating me like shit for? Why are you playing me in Canberra? Volandis?
Why are you playing a
Who
Canberra?
organised that? Volandis did? He
I
just
don't
must have
know.
just like got up and went, ugh, shit, Canberra.
Must be a little politician
Yeah,
backhander in there somewhere.
Yeah, must be for sure.
Give us this
money
game.
talks.
Yeah, we'll do some.
All right, anyway,
big
just
time.
a little bit in the details for the game. I think it's going to be a real enterprising game anyway. Like the teams are fucking pretty stacked. New South Wales won the first 2. Queensland have won the last 2. I think New South Wales will win this one. Look out for, I think the real advantage for the New South Wales girls will be in the outside backs. You obviously got
Sturgis and
Isabel Kelly,
yeah.
for the Roosters. They just won the comp. Emma Tonagato and Millie Boyle are in the team. They're the Co-Daily M winners. And they've got-
Tonagato's a weapon.
They've even got Clydesdale who plays back row for the Roosters. She's on the wing. So the New South Wales outside backs, I think that's going to be the real
Is Millie
difference.
Boyle from New South Wales?
Yeah, she's a New South Wales girl, yeah.
Country, Really
Yeah.
country.
She's a good player, man.
Yeah, she's a
good.
gun. Speaking
That's
of Paddy Carrigan's 198 of the best.
You reckon?
She'll get over 200. There you go. Lock that in.
Go,
200.
load up on the unders on the points down in Canberra.
Down in Canberra, Cole,
Load up
that's
on the
what I'm looking
unders.
at.
You got to add that. You got to add
load
the
up on the
elements, man.
unders.
It'd be like
Yeah.
playing at Lambo.
Don't worry, I've already had a look too. It's not available yet because they know I'm about to smash
it's
it.
It's going to
I'm
be
about to-
slippery. It's
Yeah.
going to be. It's a day game or a night game.
It's a
Obviously,
night game. It's 7 p.m. on Friday night. for the fucking poor
7:45.
girls.
7:45.
Why'd you do that to the girls, man? They don't
Yeah.
deserve that. They should have been playing somewhere in Sydney at a just say you
North
played-
Sydney
played at
Oval
Bank
or
West.
Redcliffe.
Played at Bank West.
Bank West,
You
yeah.
played at Redcliffe. It's either one of those teams, one of those grounds where you can look at the atmosphere and go, that looks cool, because Redcliffe looked cool.
Yeah.
I was watching shit.
Yeah.
I was thinking, that must be a men's game after this. That's what my mindset was. No, it's a standalone. I'm like,
fucking oath.
well done.
Well done.
They would have got 10 to 15,000 at Bankwest or Redcliffe.
Easy.
And now I think they'll struggle to get 5. And that's not because of the girls, it's because of the placement.
Because it's winter in Canberra.
Yeah. I was hoping the game was going to be around here because I would have liked to have gone and watched it. You know what I mean? So
I agree.
Do you remember that game back in the day when it was snowing?
Yeah, 2001. Canberra versus West Tigers.
Oh, yuck.
Has Sailor played.
we played down there one year and it was in 11 or 12 with Para and Steve Kearney goes, not allowed to talk about the weather. I'm like, fuck, that's the only thing on my mind.
Every time we play in Canberra, it was just like a siege mentality.
Yeah.
Let's get down there, especially when you looked at, as you see, you look at the schedule going, oh, fuck, it's like around 15 or 16. It's going to be freezing. Like, siege mentality, get down there, beat the shit out of these dudes, get on 2 points, piss on the bus all the way back to Sydney. That's it.
Stop
That's
at the
all it
Maccas.
is.
Stop at the Maccas.
Stop at the Maccas.
Do you know a tactic that my dad told me went all the way through to, I think even when I was playing around 13, 14, Mace, apparently Canberra, what they used to do was they wouldn't put the
heaters on in there.
And they would smack the heaters in the away shed. So what it did was you'd get off the bus, you'd be freezing, you'd get inside. This is grouse. Good. Bang, go do warm-up. Fuck, I'm freezing again. Come back in. Oh, yeah, I'm sweet. Well, they would have the fucking heaters off the whole time, acclimatising themselves early. That's how much of a fucking mental...
Sucks, man. If it's after round 5, it sucks.
Yeah. Fucking
Let alone, what round is it? Round 15 or 16?
Yeah.
Right,
so New South Wales girls, I think they get the job done. Play the unders. If it's under, I reckon it'll probably be around
36.
No, lower than that. It'll be set about 26, I reckon, if they do it. Still play the unders.
You reckon?
New South Wales 1 to 12 in a close one. These girls defend their asses off, man, because it's like it's the best of the best now. So
there'll be some lost balls, but
yeah. You know how I talk to you, mates, about like some of them haven't developed it. There's about 6 to 7 in every team that are high quality. Now they're all put together, and now there's not that
many.
Yeah. You can't exploit a weakness.
Average players.
You can't exploit a weakness in this game. So 1 to 12 New South Wales unders. There you go.
Love that. All right, let's move on to the international games because we've got 3 on Saturday. We'll give you... Do you want to... Sorry, Scott.
Sorry, one last thing. Shout out to the Silver Ferns girls as well. Can't be not talking about the Kiwi girls playing Tonga before their game. Folletti's a part of their coaching staff.
I know.
Folletti and Jim Dimmick.
Yeah, I know.
They're for the Tonga girls. Shout out to the skip Crystal Rota and the Silver Ferns as well. Got to give them a shout out. It'd be remiss to speak about the Aussie girls and not speak about our Silver Ferns. Kiwi based. You know how it is.
Silver Ferns are the netball side.
Yeah, it's Kiwi Ferns.
I know. That's what I was thinking. I said, is netball playing?
They've got...
It's Kiwi Ferns.
Kiwi Ferns.
Oh, same thing.
Ooh, ask them.
What's our
ask the girls.
What's our badminton team called? The Blackhawks.
Blackhawks, yeah.
That's a name.
What?
Blackhawks. The Shuttlecocks. Is it called Shuttlecocks?
Yeah, they're called the Blackhawks.
They're called the Blackhawks. Do you know
Easy. Just let that one slide.
Another think tank for about a minute.
The basketball called the Tall Blacks.
Yeah, the Tall Blacks. That's a good one. When they did the haka too, the Tall Blacks. Did you remember that?
Yeah, it's a bit cringy and the basketball looks weird.
Yeah, it looks weird in basketball.
Doesn't it?
Too tall.
The American team were like,
you got like 6 nightingales doing the haka.
You can't be 6'10" doing the
They
haka.
had like Kyle Lowry in that smirking because they didn't know how to react to it as
Yeah.
well.
they wouldn't have never seen that.
That's disrespecting the haka.
Someone said it's called, that's just like the A-Town Stomp or something. Iguodala said that. Stephen Adams blew up. Yes, that just reminds me of an A-Town Stomp.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, giggle. Guys, before we break down the Kiwi and Tongan game, I'm really looking forward to this game, but this content is brought to you by Manscaped. These guys have been supporting us for a minute as well. So if you guys want 20% off any of their products online, use my code ICE. 20% off, free shipping. Make sure you use that code ICE. Trim up the nuts, look good, feel good, perform good. Bit of steady fritty as well. Help yourselves. Back to the show.
All right, first game on Saturday is the Kiwis taking on Mate Tonga. It's at Mount Smart, so it's probably going to be a sellout. Well, it's almost a sellout. I think they've only got Hill.
Is that Mount Smart?
Yeah, they've only got Hill tickets
Cool,
left.
bro.
So it's
About time they got a game back there. I reckon Auckland will stand
It'll be a Tongan
up.
home. It'll be a Tongan home game, bro.
There's
It'll be
a report this morning that 85% of ticket sales are for Tongan fans already.
How did they figure that out?
So basically, through Ticketmaster,
Stats,
when
bro.
you apply, you put in like whatever your
your name.
What team you support and
What team you
shit.
support.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, they're looking at an 80-20 split before kickoff.
Perfect.
I reckon it'd be 90-10 by the time the game fucking
I
comes
reckon,
around.
I'm not sure, like, just looking at the teams, we're a better side than New Zealand.
No, you're not.
You don't reckon?
No,
You don't think so?
No.
I'll run you through the spine, and this is going to be controversial as well.
Yeah. hit me.
I think the New Zealand spine is better than Queensland and New South Wales spine.
What's New Zealand spine?
Joey Manu fullback, Dylan Brown 5'8", Jerome Hughes halfback, and the fucking hectic cheese hooker.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's a good spine.
That's the reason why. But they're paying $4.
That's pretty good.
That's a good
That's what
spine.
I
So
know.
who's ours? Havili.
Hey,
Havili's
You got
9.
Katoni 6.
Amone is 7.
Yeah, Amon 7.
that's me. We didn't even know who's the
Who's
have
the
they named
fullback?
their proper
Yeah, they
sides
did.
yet?
Who
Yeah,
was it
I'll
before?
bring it up.
I had it before. Who's
Fair team. I'm just looking at our forward
Nah,
pack.
it's not a net link there, Jacko. Well, I've already looked in there as
I'll
well.
find it for you.
Go through their team because their
No,
talent.
but then you line up with the forwards. You got Joey Tarpany, you got James Fisher-Harris, you got Nelly from Willie, Osofa Solomona. Like, there's some pretty big boys in there.
All right, I digress.
That's what I thought
I think
too.
it's going to be good. I think it would be a better game than just say if you say 10 years ago Tonga versus New Zealand.
Oh, of course.
Can we get close to
They're not going to smack
40-10.
them, mate.
They're not gonna-
Emotion is going to be enough to
and confidence for the
bridge
Tongan
that
team.
gap.
The confidence wearing that jersey now. I think they're expected to win. The last test they beat Australia.
Yeah,
It's
100%.
ridiculous. Just so don't think they're never going to go to Mount Smart again.
And before we
with
get-
that Red Sea,
I thought that
and
as
think-
well, bro.
I thought that. I was thinking, once you went through it, I'm like, yeah, it's going to be way more even. I still don't think I don't think New Zealand will pump us. I just think it could go any way. But that spine is the key.
As elite, they're all runners.
Once
mate.
that spine
All
comes
runners.
in, I'm
Before
like,
we get off
alright.
the spine as well, I'll add another one. If we were able to put Joey Manu, because he plays obviously centres, I think he could be a world-class fullback if he was at the Roosters,
Yeah, of
but he's
course.
a centre at the moment.
He's a
KP, Kalen Ponga, or Reece Walsh, if we just had one of them, one of the boys come home, ooh, KP at the back, Joey Manu in the centres. Woo-hoo.
Then you're talking.
Oh.
Can he do that?
Peta Hiku in the centres.
Petty Hiku's killing it.
Jordan Rapiner on the
Shout out
wing.
to Peta
Ronaldo
Hiku.
Mulitalo.
Oh, boy.
Fuck, we got ourselves a squad,
Bro,
baby.
this is the
KP.
best- this is the best
Time to
kill-
come home, baby. I know you're born in
Can't
Port
have that
Hedland.
tattoo on you and not play for New Zealand.
I know you're born in Port Hedland, but you spent a bit of time in Palmy North. You've played your Origin. It's time to come home, baby.
Come
home for
home,
the
bro.
World Cup.
Come home.
Come
Come
home
home.
for the
Could he
World Cup.
come
we need him
home
for-
for
we need him
the
for
World
Queensland.
Cup? Could he go, I'm going to play for New Zealand?
I don't think you can do that.
it's
That's
tier
the
one.
one thing you can't do.
He's tier 1, isn't he?
That does does that make
Yeah.
sense?
He's tier 1. You can't do that.
So the rules, pretty straightforward. If you play for a tier 1 nation, that's who you're going to play for. So he's
Change the rules.
So who's the other one? Is it
Australia?
Samoa?
Tonga tier
Samoa.
2?
So the way it works at the moment with the tier system is guys like Josh Papali'i or Tino who have played for a tier 1 could play for Samoa at the World Cup because they're tier 2.
Yeah.
But
If you play for
KP couldn't go from
can't go
Australia
straight to New Zealand.
That's the only ones you can't cross
That's the
over
only one you
between.
can't cross over. Yeah.
That's fair enough. That is sort of fair.
Nah, fuck that. Come back to fucking New Zealand, KP.
But when you
Find a
say
way.
when you say
Find a way.
when you
team's
say it
nice,
like
bro.
that, I like it.
Yeah.
I like it because I like both those cats.
Joey Tarpany's been on fire. Fisher
Joey
Harris,
Tarpany.
one of
No,
the best.
that's a great pack. Bro.
Jesse Bromwich, captain. Kenny Bromwich on
Mate,
the edge
that's
as well. It's a
big
good
Nas
side,
in that,
bro.
man.
It's
That's
good
a really
side.
good side.
Yeah.
Isaiah
I never even
Papali'i
looked at that. Now
Isaiah Papali'i.
I'm looking at it like for the World Cup. I don't even care about this.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to see someone who's going to challenge Australia. Is it going to be Tonga, Samoa? New
KP's
Zealand?
not going to play over Teddy anyway. Teddy's going to be
He'll
fullback for
playing
Australia.
against Scotland.
Yeah.
Can you even call it a test? I smash everyone who's been in 4 nations. Remember Scotland was in 4 nations? And like Jake Friend played 1 test. That's not a test, it's Scotland.
It's
I played
like
24 of the best.
It's like the Prime
Great Britain, England, or New Zealand.
it's
That's
like
it.
our Prime Minister's 13.
Couple
He made a rep.
little Frenchies thrown in there.
Yeah,
Brad
Frenchie.
Dolan.
You know the Prime Minister's 13. You're like, yeah, you made the best team on the team that can't make the finals.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Prime Minister's 13. Yeah, you're not on Kangaroo Tour, but
Scope, strengths, weaknesses. Give us something for Tonga. What do you like?
Oh, I just think the energy of the crowd, like I said, I think there's a gap within the talent across the board. I think New Zealand have got a much better team, but emotion, we talk about we haven't seen international footy in a couple of years. It's the first game going back to Mount Smart. Predominantly, there'll be a big show up of Islander, Tongans, big influence of Islanders, the Tongans rocking up. I just think that's really going to bridge the gap. And then a guy to watch out for, our boy Katoni, we talked about him a fair bit.
At 6?
He is going to be flying around and trying to hurt. They're going to go crazy.
At 6?
You got
they
Adam.
had Talakai too. Imagine Talakai in the centres.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Individually, when you look at Tongan players, you're like, fuck, they're all fucking beasts. But are they very similar?
Yeah.
Is that the question?
Yep.
Oh, who's their forward pack? You got
Adam Fanua-Blake.
Fanua-Blake, Takayaho, Tupanua, David. I mean, just say potentially in the World Cup, David Fafita and
Tomalolo.
Tamalolo. Come on, man, that'll battle anyone.
Yeah, so they've got
You know,
Tavita,
and then you
Tavita
look-
Pangai, Hamoli
Then
Olakuatu.
then big,
Olakuatu.
Olakuatu.
yeah.
He's on the
T, you
fine.
know what I mean? You got these guys who are they're just all animals, you know what I mean? But the difference is, can you play in that system? Can you play together? Can you play a little bit structured, all that
So
kind
at
of
the
stuff
moment,
individually?
some of the predicted teams have both Hamole and Koloamatangi on the edges, with Tupanua probably coming off the bench. And then you have guys like Andrew Fafita in the starting side with Taumalolo.
You're not starting Andrew
Yeah,
Fafita.
so-
no way.
So when I look at that Tongan side,
No, I
it's
think
like
Andrew starts for him
Yeah,
because he's the
He typically starts for them.
yeah because he's the the OG.
He's the ringleader.
Yeah,
bringing
yeah,
everyone
yeah.
across.
when I look at that Tongan side individually, when you look at, but then you look over on the other side, and you got guys like Moses Leota going to match up to him. Nelly from Wellie's going to be the biggest guy in the field as well. So,
Jesse Bromwich for Shahara.
Jesse
Moses
Bromwich,
Leota, so
bro,
Moses
they're
Leota's
vets.
not choosing Samoa.
oh, you go that's still tier 1. So if you didn't,
So
make
he
the-
can drop back.
Yeah,
So
he
I
can go to
reckon he
Samoa.
will. Do you reckon what about Big Nas and all that? They might do that as well.
I don't know. Nas has come out last year.
Joey
Nas-
Manu,
Nas
Joey
is-
Manu's star, isn't he?
Nas is pretty dead set
Nah,
on
Cook
being
Island,
the
Cook
Kiwis.
Island.
All right.
Yeah, Nelson.
How many
is all
players
Kiwis.
could potentially drop back to Samoa from New Zealand?
Nah, not as long as that coach is there. Not as long as Matt Parrish
But
is
have a look,
there.
and what about Australia? Junior Paulo, Crichton,
Tino.
Luai,
Tino.
Tino. You know, so if all those guys drop back,
I hope they
that
do.
decimates Australia. not even that'll put them back. That won't even get them in the final. If we miss all those boys, the Tongan boys and Samoan boys, if they choose to play for their home country,
Fuck, it'll be
Australia,
entertaining.
it'll even right up,
Yeah.
and I hope they do it.
Yeah.
I hope they all go back and they play for their home country just for this World Cup.
Yeah.
You can come back and go play in the next test for Australia or whatever, but just
Yeah,
for
I
this
agree.
World Cup, man, just be real to your family. I think they will. I think they will be, especially the Tongan boys. But it's up to the Samoan boys because they haven't been doing that shit. Because I don't think
You just got to live it
because
out
of the
there,
coaching.
Bunsen. You got to live it out there, Bunsen, for the boys. Eh?
Yeah, you
That's
just
what
got to
it
go.
is.
Hey, do you do it for money? These guys are on $1 million now, man.
Yeah,
Do you care about 50,000 for a World Cup? No.
they get chopped in half. Eh?
You won't care about that. I
25K.
don't think so, because if you're a young kid, just say if you're, just like Tony Staggs or something like that, or Junior Paulo, you're only sitting on 800-900. You think just going to a World Cup for Australia, unless you want to win a World Cup, but like playing for Samoa, getting that nation up into the final even.
And it's not like a Webb
It's
Ellis.
massive,
Yeah.
man. It's
not like-
massive. Like if Crichton and Luai, Toto,
They might have changed their tune, but last year those Penrith boys were pretty stoic
Aussie.
on
Samoa.
on playing for Samoa in the World
Yeah.
Cup.
Yeah.
they've got to change their coaching staff. That's all it leans on.
That's all it is. Yeah.
That's all it is. And once if that coach goes, I'm sitting back, then they'll all come.
You spoke about
Because
it
if
last
both
week,
the Joeys,
Mace,
because both Andrew and Matt Johns want to coach, they'll bring SBW in, all these sort of guys, man.
Yeah.
They'll be really influential on these kids. But if they have Matt Parrish, they won't play.
How can Matt Parrish not see that he's the
And if I was him, if I was in that position
Step
and
away,
they weren't
eh?
playing, I'd step away.
Oh, bro.
That's nice.
You
and
know
put-
you're holding the international game back like that, surely.
That's what I look at. If you look like you're holding a nation back, I don't care how much money you're on or whatever's happening politically, I'm stepping back because I want to see the best for the growth of the game, especially in this World Cup. And I know for a fact that 6 or 7 of them will not play if he's coach. Dude, step back.
Yeah, get away.
I've been saying it for 2 or 3 years.
I think it'll be a close one, boys, physicality wise, and I think obviously Jerome Hughes, Dill Brown, they'll be the difference in the back 10, 15 minutes of the game.
I didn't even know that spine was that
Isaac.
I think the Kiwis do them comfortably. Eh? Like I remember the last.
13 plus?
Yeah, I remember the last game. I mean, sort of Cheese and Jerome Hughes scored a couple tries in that game. I think Mati Tonga, they're a good side more in the World Cup than a sort of one-off stand.
They need to build. They need to build. They need to build.
One, they're going back to Auckland. 2, they're linking up all their families. The families are bringing in
And I
all the
think, yeah.
food. You know what I mean? Shit like that.
The only thing going for Tonga is that no one's played international rugby league for years now, 2 or 3 years. So New Zealand will be just as rusty as Tonga.
Yeah.
Depends who comes in. Obviously, your spine and everything, and people play with the
They're
club
not big,
football.
shapy type players, though. They're runners.
I know that, but I'm just saying, like Tonga might be like, let's just go at them as hard as we can through the middle and try and destroy their middle, go out wide, play basic, get to the kick, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where New Zealand's is like might get a little bit shell shocked at the start.
So you're going to go get to the kick with Amone and Katoni Staggs.
Yeah.
They're not the grinder type, but you know what I mean?
Amone's not a bad kicker.
Yeah, but he hasn't had to do it at a consistent level.
You know, just think of what you just said there, Mace. You know what's a benefit? The New Zealand Māori Indigenous game that they've played for the last couple of years. So
that helps them, eh?
the combinations
And
between
it's-
them
it
and the
is.
Melbourne
It's the
Storm boys.
Bromwiches and it's
Yep.
Jerome Hughes and Cheese
Kenny
that have been
Bromwich.
playing together, which will get them over the line. I
Matariki
think.
too, which is Māori New Year, first time they're celebrating
Yeah,
it on a
happy
Friday.
Matariki.
So happy Matariki.
There you go.
That's cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just going to go for Tonga anyway.
You're
1 to
Tongan.
12.
You're Tongan.
I
You
have
want
to
it.
go
Yeah,
1 to 12. I just want it, and if it's not, if New Zealand does win, I don't want it to be by a big margin. I just want it to be like an 18-6 game, 18-10, where it's just like last 5-10 minutes, someone gets an ascendancy, someone with the cheese and Jerome Hughes does some real crazy shit. You know what I mean? I don't want it to be done by half time.
I see.
One team get blown out. I can maybe potentially see that.
I don't think it will, bro.
I don't think so
really
either. But
for a while,
maybe
and
it can because they haven't played for so long. And even like the Tongan team looks like it's pretty stacked.
Yeah.
So they haven't played for that long.
They've got a few new faces, but obviously their strikers in Kola and Moses Sully and those.
Oh, the
players.
Juice!
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I call him. That's what I call that. Tolu Kola from fucking Manly. Plays centre for him. Call him the Juice, baby.
He's good.
Call him the Juice. Watch him. I'm fucking stoked to see him play fullback. Yeah, he is playing fullback.
Yeah.
He's named at fullback.
What about the kid from
Penasini's playing right centre.
The Cronulla winger.
Katoa?
Yeah, he's in.
Katoa's in there as well.
He's in.
We've got some really good outs. Our back five's pretty good.
Mulatalo's playing for the Kiwis, though. The other Cronulla winger.
Yeah.
He's someone, right, isn't he?
Yeah,
He's
But he said he was going to go for Queensland last year. And they
Yeah.
fucking fucked him over. That was the worst thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, that was average.
Come here a
was
year too
awful.
late. Come here a year too late.
All right, let's move on to Samoa, taking on your boys, Ice, the Cook Islands.
Let's go.
At 5:40. So they're the second game, well, the first game at Campbelltown, but second game on the Saturday. What do you like?
Who's Cook Islands got?
Samoa. So
gonna spank 'em.
they're
No, but
paying.
like, who have they got as players?
Oh, no one really. Like, if we had a dream lineup, it would be Charles Nickel-Clockstead, Joey Manu, Jordan Rapana. Isa Masters is playing six for
really?
their amount. We could have Dylan Napa, Zane Tedavano, Murata Nikora. Like we could put out a really good
They're all
side.
cookies.
Yeah, they're all cookies.
Wow.
Valentine Holmes, he's another guy as well. So,
Best centre in the world at the moment.
but then all the guys at the moment are all just playing in a higher level and international, which is understandable. So right now we don't really got too many guys, and we're paying $21 to win. The line is plus 34.5. So
SAR's pretty stacked.
SAR's stacked.
And that's without
The New Zealand players
Crichtons, Unipolos,
and the
New
fucking
Zealand.
Origin players, yeah.
That could be a nation that you
One
just
guy,
could
a
wake
couple of
up,
guys I'm
man.
looking forward to watching in this game because it's going to be, you think SAR going to fucking give him a bit of a hiding. I think Charlie Staines is a really interesting player. He's going to play fullback for him. I think he's a player, if you're looking at it at club level, a guy that if you're a team down the bottom or a team that's sort of looking for an extra guy to throw on the outside backs, I think he's a solid player. He's just he got stuck behind Taylor May and Brian Toto and Dylan Edwards. He's just he's that next guy that might go and have a Dane Laurie effect at the West Tigers.
That's a good shout.
Yeah, to watch out for Charlie Staines at fullback. And a guy
hard,
I've been
man.
really high on. He only played a couple of games last year before he did his ACL. He's been back playing Queensland Cup for the Broncos. Xavier Willison, watch out for him. He's playing front row for Cook Islands. I think I love the way he looks. Yeah, he played 3 games last year. He's a bit of a hybrid of Jordan Ricky mixed in with like Jeremiah Nanai. Like he chases kicks like he's like a youngster. He just chases kicks down. He takes his carries. He was working his ass off, and it really stood out last year because Broncos fucking sucked, and it stood out because he was putting in a lot of effort. So watch out for him, mate.
Speaking of Nanai, how the fuck does he get the ball all the time? Are
No,
people not
he's
onto
just one of
that
those
yet?
guys, yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a magnet on his
Oh,
fucking hands.
man.
He just keeps working his ass off. He keeps
Works,
putting himself in the
he
picture.
gets through coverage and
Yeah.
just keeps going.
Remember Hainsey and Barbara are like that. The ball seems to always bounce their way.
It's like ridiculous.
Yeah, like obviously that Samoa side stack as well, but with the Cookie side, like I think they should even not struggle to put a side together, but they're sort of looking around because right now most of our players need to come from England and Super League, and all the rest are either playing fucking Queensland or
At
Kiwis.
least in
which
the
is
World Cup, it'd be
understandable.
decent.
Yeah, we'll get Napa and all the back. Zane
Yeah.
Tedavano. We'll have a decent side.
Speaking of coaches, Ice, if they brought you on, would the boys come back?
Tony Ira used to be my coach. So
Yeah, you get along with Tony.
Yeah.
If they bring the Iceman in, are the boys coming back for the Iceman? And some YKTR kit.
I almost got the 7 jersey, I reckon.
They'll throw you in at training.
Yeah,
You'll be doing a pose carving up. They're like, you're playing this week.
you know how we talked about having JT and that. It might have been the version of that.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at.
Hey, it's Tony Ira. Do you know what his nickname was? Sponge, because he absorbs liquid.
That's a good one.
Ooh,
Hey, that's a
ooh,
good
I like
nickname,
that.
One of the great
I want to know
Jenkins
a
Sponge.
modern day sponge.
Hey, welcome back to Nero Arona. He's been over in Super
Yeah,
League for a
T,
while,
good on
so
him.
Oh, yeah.
he's in the 13 for us. Proud cookie guy as well. So yeah, got to hold the gloves up against these boys. But I think the boys, we're a very proud nation.
Samoa
We're small, but we're very proud of who we are.
It's a big start. It is a big start, even though
I'm putting
Samoa-
money on that.
Yeah, you're gonna have a crack.
Yeah, plus 34.5.
I think it's already been pumped in, so someone's had a lick on it.
You go-
34.5.
You go Anthem into a haka, you're up for the first 20, 30
Yeah,
and just got to
easy.
hold on. But the thing about Samoa and their halves, Chanel, he's more of a runner. Milford, a bit more of a runner. They're probably going to get the outside backs a bit more ball than someone like Tonga. Like Amoni's a runner and Katoni's a runner as well. So how's Moses Sully not going to get the ball?
Good luck.
Yeah, but the thing is, like when you're a defensive side and you're Kiwis, you're just going tighter.
I think Stags, like he plays like he doesn't have a pass, but he's got a skill set.
No, he
I've seen him
does.
play
Yeah,
six,
he
so he
does.
might be like, you know what? I'll dig off my left foot or right foot, whatever side he's attacking, whenever he wants, because he loves contact, right? But he'll be able to pull the trigger. and give the early ball to Sully and, out the back, all that. He has that skill set, It's just not as fluent as your best sixes because we're looking at Munsters and all these guys are like, they make that shit look easy. That's their job.
It'd be nice, bro.
He's a manufactured six.
He'll most likely have Penasini on his side. So Penasini plays right for Para. Moses Sully plays left for the
he got
Dragons.
picked, though?
Yeah, Penasini's on the bench. But Tupou comes out. And what was the other one? There was one more. Oh, Talakai. Talakai was named as the other centre. So you think Penasini will just roll straight into that right centre.
Yeah.
And,
he's nice, bro.
He's good. He's solid.
Jenko.
Yeah, man.
He plays like Jenko, Probably not as rapid, but like same movements.
I think Tui Pelotu will come on for Tupou as well.
Samoa's gone with the Penrith connection of Tago. Isaac Tonga and Talon May as
well.
well.
They're paying $1.01. Fucking carrying on like they're winks. $1.01.
Yeah, because they'll probably win by 12 lengths. They're probably going to win by 12 lengths.
Samoa
are winks of International Rugby League.
All right, and the last game on Saturday is the Segeyaro-less PNG taking on the
Bring
Fiji
back
and
James Segeyaro.
Bring back James Segeyaro.
But they're taking on the Fiji, who have got a pretty stacked side as well.
Fiji's stacked, man.
That burnt him, age.
Yeah.
Poor dude, man.
Kumals will come out with plenty of passion and hard hitting.
That's all. It
doesn't matter who they've got in that team. They put that jersey on. They're going to go crazy, man. There's going to be some sore bodies that next day. It's going to be an awful test.
David Mead, Justin Olam in the centres.
Yeah, man.
There's some shots there. Alex Johnson at the fullback.
It doesn't even matter who. You can't even name their starting forward pack. But you're going to get hit.
Yeah, they're going to hurt.
Their forward pack's going to hit you. You know what I mean? So
take the start in that. Take the Kumals in the start because I think they can win it too.
I think they play enough football together.
Fiji?
Yeah, I think
could rattle them. I reckon.
7 times out of 10 Fiji beat them. 3 occasions I think the Kumals can get them.
Tane Milne at the 13. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
He's big, man.
Willie Amakiko, Kamikamitha.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting side. But like this, it's very similar to Tonga.
Yeah, Kevin Nguama's playing 6 for him.
Yeah, they're all athletic. So if they held their fair share of the ball.
And just defend and just have a good... That's why it's so important to have a good 7-6 who can just control the ruck, control the tempo, know when to kick it out. Because I think international football, you kick it out, it's going to be scrum.
Oh, I couldn't tell you.
I think international rules are different. So
no 7 tackles.
No 7 tackles. So you're going to be looking to kick it out for you big boys. So if you're in the Tongan team or the Samoan team in the World Cup, I'm looking to kick it out all the time. Get the big boys, get them set again because have a look at how it'll slow down. You don't want that shit to slow down. The only reason why you get hold of these big Islander sides is if you dominate the ruck.
Yeah.
If that's slowed down to what they're used to, NRL level and Origin level, international football is going to be very slow.
There's a lot of athletes out there. There's a lot of good rigs. Everyone's going to be hitting hard. I think Lachlan Lamb could be the difference.
Rigs.
He's the most established half for either sides. So if he can control it well with a good kicking game, get the Kumals around the field, I think he could be the difference.
Because they don't run out of gas. Kumals don't run out of gas.
Kyle Labott's like a genuine
I don't know much
half
about
as
him.
well.
Yeah, where's he from?
I think he's from up North Queensland ways as well. He just couldn't quite crack it into, but he was always sort of around. So I think he's all right too.
Scope, Fiji have also named your boy in the 14 jersey, Isaac Lumi.
Ooh,
yeah,
there's a Lumi in there.
Lumi's in the 14.
Oh,
there you go. But anytime, James.
Fiji.
I tell you what, if it comes to the try, he'll make the hard ones look easy and the easy ones look hard.
That's what he does.
That's what he's good at. That's his bread. That's his bread and butter. That.
And obviously, Sunday the big game is State of Origin. We have talked a lot about it, but we'll start with you, Ice. Strengths, weaknesses, predictions in this one. What are we looking at?
Scope, you roll through.
All right. Yep. So I'm going to double down on my take from the first game, and I'm just going to base that off. I don't think Isaiah Yale's going to get knocked out in the first 15 seconds. So I think that'll be a big difference between not only the combinations that they had in the first game, but we've talked about it. Mace mentioned it right at the start. We've got Alpi Carousel now at 9. We've got Matt Burton, who's familiar with the boys at left centre. It's just this Penrith combination. Everything should fly around that, with the difference being Isaiah Yale's not knocked out. So I think that's the real strength. I think it'll sharpen this game. I think the Prince will be in for a big game. If I was looking for a man of the match, I know he's the favourite. I don't fucking go, sometimes you try to find value. Last game, I thought Queensland were going to win, and then therefore the most impactful player is going to be Munster. If you think New South Wales are going to win this, like I think they are, I think Nathan Cleary is going to be the most impactful player with Isaiah Yale. So
is Isaiah Yale too nice for this? Like, you remember Steve Price, really good prop as well.
He is a good fella.
But like,
Isaiah Yale's a good dude, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Country boy.
Yeah, I get that. But
he doesn't really have to have too much shit in him because everyone else does in Penrith.
Yeah.
Everyone else in that, like Jerome's going to talk shit to you. Crichton's going to talk shit to you.
He's like Bobcat.
Titans.
Yeah.
He's like a bobcat.
He's from the same area
Yeah,
too.
he
Yeah,
isn't he?
from
From
both from
Yeah.
Dubbo or something like that. They just get their, they just
He
get
didn't
it
need to
done.
talk shit 'cause
He
they
didn't
had
talk
you.
shit. You had me, you had Sonny, you had Rennie, you had everyone else talking shit.
Yeah.
He just used to lead us out.
Yeah, you don't have to have it across the board, and then you got Tot who's going to run over you and then smile in your face or like play with his hair and shit.
Yeah,
like,
that's so
there
weird.
can be- he can be the cruisy, steadying influence with.
That's
Nate.
what he is. That's exactly what he is.
Yeah, so that's my strength for them. I think it really shows out in this game because I think there's no way that this doesn't go back to a decided.
I think Queensland win, eh?
Damn you.
I don't know why. I've just got this.
What do you
feeling.
reckon? Do you reckon?
Yeah.
I'm just like so much of an optimist and like a New South Wales. I'm just like, it can't.
Yeah.
We just cannot perform like we did in game one and just do it again in game two. When you go into game two, especially when you go into deciders and just say like the sweep like last year, the sweep's going to be on. It hasn't been swept since 2000 because the person who's been on the other end of the sweep, you go up about 110%, and the other team who's already won the series are at about 90. Where I'm looking at this game, even if Queensland's rolling at 100, where everyone's at 110%. And that's what'll get you over the line with that ferocity and all that sort of shit in the middle. You just hope so anyway. You know what I mean? That's what I think should happen in Origin, and I know they've picked the players to get that job done.
You talked about where do you target the Maroons, or who do you try and stop? You said limiting the go forward. Does that sort of stop the flow on effect from Cam Munster and DCE like that as well?
Because I think Cam Munster just does some shit that's like you
can't train for it.
He palmed Madison off twice. You know what I mean? He's not palming Jake Trbojevic off once. You know what I mean? He shuts that shit down. Like, so he's there and he skips. So he's not running these mad holes and throwing dummies like he does usually. You know what I mean? Like, he'll just find it. He'll find that weak link in the defensive line, but everyone's going to be on for Munster. They will be, especially game two. Like, Munster will be doing everything he can, but when you just game plan for shit and you stick to a game plan for 80 minutes, you can nullify Munster. You can do it. It's just going to take a massive job defensively, and we have to do it. There's no other way. It's like, fucking solve Munster. I don't give a shit how you do it. He just doesn't make any line breaks, and he doesn't get that momentum switch. He doesn't do a one-on-one fucking strip. He doesn't do all this sort of shit which gets the fucking team going. And everyone looks at him like he's pretty much captain. I look at him as a captain. I look at DC. DC just runs out first because he's fucking 35. That's it. Munster's your captain. He's not the Munster, because Munster does some dumb shit like all of us.
Yeah.
So he ain't going to be captain.
Erratic.
He's too much of a rat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, you're not going to put Munster, but they look at Munster like the captain. So like, if I'm New South Wales and nullifying them, I'm still worrying about our job playing our best football, because I reckon if we go from 1 to 17, if we play our best footy, we can still we should win. That's the way I look at things.
We got a giggle out of Munster probably about a year and a half ago, and he just got named into the leadership group down in Melbourne. Like, what the fuck? He's your best player.
Yeah, we thought, like, because we're in a WhatsApp group with him, we're like, he's the best player, wasn't in the leadership group. Beauty's out of the leadership group 6 months later. And that's respectful. Hey, just
All the greats have
Munster
got that weirdness about him.
Yeah, before we move on, mate, it's like, when it comes to big games and how often he steps up,
No one better.
think about, like, over your time, Joey obviously stands out. Like, compare him with the greats. Is he up there? Is he?
But by the end of it, because what
Yeah.
is he, 29?
He's only 25, 26.
So-
No,
he's about
27.
27?
So he's turning 28 this year, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think he's got 3 or 4 years at his prime.
Yeah.
And then I just don't think he can.
He's 27.
Yeah. So he's 28 this year, I think. I
Yes,
Googled
September.
him before. So I think he's got about three or 4 years easy at 6. You know what I mean? Like easy. And that Origin added, I don't care if they pick him for test level, all that kind of stuff. But like, I don't see him slowing down, because he just knuckled down this year, said, I'm off the piss, I'm just going to train harder. And he's probably going to be in the running for Dally M. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to have that influence. He has that influence over his side. He's got that Wally Lewis sort of influence where he does line breaks like Wally Lewis does. Like, just nothing's on and next minute he's through. It's like, how do you keep that balance and shit like that when he comes off 1 foot? You know what I mean? Like, he's really well balanced and just strong. He's way stronger than you
Mongo
think.
strength.
Got that Mong strength. I reckon he could bench like 40 kilo and squat 10.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you just can't put him down.
Yeah.
He's always had that Mong strength. He just has that X factor.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't know what he's going to do. He can dummy, he can step. He's got that pace where he can burn middles. He can burn edge players. It's like, he can throw a ball. He can kick good. He's just a fucking gun.
Yeah.
That's it. I can't put it else. When you
Yeah.
really look at his game at a whole, you're like, there's not really one weakness. Because if he turns on in defence, he don't miss tackles either.
Yeah.
He's very effective in tackles. He fucking wrestles really good. He's about 90% effective tackler at 6.
Yeah,
and
that's
that's
crazy.
great. They expect that from middles, 95%. You get that from an edge player. No one really spots him up in defence, because like he'll get you.
Yeah,
You know,
he'll
like,
rip
in an attack, what are you going to? Like, you just got to limit great players. Limit Brad Fittlers and Andrew Johns and Darren Lockies and JTs. You know they're going to do something crazy good. Just don't want it to fucking be like the whole time they get the ball in really big times. Like, Munster with the one-on-one strip, the palm, the this, that, like really big. You do that at Suncorp. Imagine that. The crowd, if he had done that shit at Suncorp, we would have got fucking done by 30. Because he does momentum sort of switches. He does that sort of shit. It's like, fuck. I thought we had just one-on-one strip.
I think the big players to watch out for, we sort of touched on last time, is Ben Hunt and Harry Grant. Because we were talking about Munster, we're talking about DCE, and I sort of alluded to Kalen Ponga, the forgotten man in the spine last year. Everyone's talking about go forward and stuff like that. So when you're going to try and shut down speed, I think when the line gets up quick, I think there's a great chance for Harry Grant and Ben Hunt to go through.
Our middles can, I just think we're way off game one. Like you watch the difference from game one to game two. Ben Hunt won't be doing shit. Neither will Harry Grant when he comes on. I swear to God, they won't be making half their meters, man. Everyone will be just blocked up, and they'll be ready to roll.
But then this is why I like Queensland, because they're smart enough to recognise when there's a tight D. Where I look at Nathan Cleary and Jerome Lua, they love the structure, get to points, blah blah blah. But when it's too tight, I can just see Munster and DC just getting the yards out wider.
Do you reckon straight away,
not straight away, but they'll figure it. I feel like they've got better match awareness or football awareness to figure it out.
Yeah, well, that's why our middles need to be smart, right?
Yeah.
So if you're at A and B, you can come up and do whatever you want, and markers need to be on their game. But if you're at C and D and the 4-man, the 5-man, you need to be fucking eyes up, going, Munster's over calling it, DC's here. You need to be up, smart, not shoulders in, eyes up, come straight up, and then just go. That's awareness in defence, and Jake Chaboyevich has that. Cam Murray has that. Isaiah Yeo has that. I don't give a fuck what Junior Paul and that are doing in the middle. Just hit, and you stay at marking, and you just look around. You know what I mean? Like you're not travelling more than 5 meters from your A and your B. Markers are working real flat out, being real diligent, trying to win tackles all the time. Like that's all you're going to do, and it's going to be a fucking vortex in the middle, and just get onto it, get used to it.
I reckon if Queensland received the ball, they'll shift it, play 2 or 3. They used to do this play very early on. So they'll go forward, initial with contact, and they used to throw that ball straight out to Josh Maguire. They had 3 middles out the back tip, and then they used to get their sets rolling like that. I reckon they'll do something like that. And you've seen the Cowboys do it against someone. They shifted off the kickoff.
All the time.
So you gotta, I think...
Jared Wallace. They need Jared Wallace in there.
He's not scared to throw it,
He loves it.
You know what it is? It's like the lesser of two evils as well, though. You've got to go in there with a non-negotiable. One thing is New South Wales can't get rolled through the middle. So if you get done and they want to spread it on you, you live and die by that because then, all right, if they get you in good shape, fuck it.
Good luck.
We've got to get on our bike, but they cannot roll through the middle like they did with Ruben Cotter.
That's a non-negotiable in any team. You know that, Hozzy.
Yeah.
Let alone an Origin game 2, where your fucking balls are on the line and the whole state's got, you know what I mean? Like, obviously you don't think like that. You just think, I just want to play the best. I just want to win because we win. When we sit from the outside in, you're looking at the whole fucking state's behind you. You can't lose. You know what I mean? But you don't understand that. Until sometimes you get that talk from great players coming in going, oh, you got to understand it's more than you. It's more than just you. It's like your family's affected. School gets affected. You go, fucking shut up.
Yeah.
School kids get affected the next day. They get teased because you got beat. And it's like the ripple effect from you getting beat. God damn, can we just get out there? You're just saying to these rookies and they go out and shit themselves.
Final predictions, boys, before we move into the Q&A. Ice, who wins, how much, what have we got?
I'll go Maroons 18-16.
Scope?
I think New South Wales bounce back 1-12.
Yeah, New South Wales 13 plus.
Nah, 2014, sorry.
2014.
Queensland.
Changed it. I'm sticking on the sweep too, Queensland. All right, let's go Q&A.
I wonder what they were paying for a sweep at the start. If you get that.
Genius. We got a fuckload of questions, mate. So we'll just try roll through them as quick as we can. But a lot of them we have already touched on, but just see what the boys want to say. So William, these are from TikTok and Instagram, and he has asked, did Freddie panic by making 7 changes? And how did you feel on Katoni being dropped? You've kind of already alluded to it. But
I don't think he panicked. I don't look at the team and go, wow, there's 7 changes. There's just familiar faces going back into the fold. I'm not sure. Appy played last year. It's not like he's been out. And Cook didn't get dropped. He just got dropped back to the bench. So they're looking at changes. It's not that big a change. Madison, Campbell Gillard, Tarek are out. I'm just surprised with Tarek, but I can see why he got dropped. The back line hasn't really changed. Like Fox didn't get back in. I think he just trusts in his outside backs. I think they did good. Staggs not getting back in the side is I can deal with that. Yeah. I can deal with it.
I think he more rectified a few wrongs that he made in game 1 rather than being...
Yeah, I agree.
I think this team's better in game 2 than it was in game 1, whether they won or lost.
Yep, I agree.
Ice. Is Sawali better than Brian To'o right now?
Yeah, I'm going to say yes.
Right now?
Yes.
Today?
That's a fair point.
Not off body of work over the course of the last 2 years. Right now, yes.
Yeah, I agree. He's playing outstanding. I mean, I think Toto's, if you're saying right now.
Today.
Yeah, exactly. I think Sawali is probably the form winger and form outside back in the comp. Dude, it's tough.
Mace,
I love
with
Sawali
Origin
Toto.
2 being played in Perth, does this give WA a stronger case to have that 18th team in the NRL?
I reckon it sucks personally being playing over there.
Yeah.
If I was playing at the moment, and they started doing it when we were playing, they were putting the game 2 down at the MCG and all that sort of shit. We're like, fuck, I'd rather, and Queensland were really blown up because just say if it was Queensland's home game, 2 games at Suncorp, the amount of money that it brings into the economy in Brisbane and in Sydney, Perth, I don't know. It's going to be a long shot with that. We're trying to get over there just to exploit the game.
Tick a box.
Yeah, tick the box, get money from the Perth government. They're paying a shitload of money. Don't get it twisted. We're not going over there because we fucking love rugby league over there. It's a money grab. You know what I mean? They don't care about the players. They care about the money that government's giving New South Wales and Queensland. And that's how it works.
I went to the last game in Perth last time I was there. It was a good
Was it
vibe.
good?
Yeah, because the nightlife,
the vibe would be-
nightlife's sick.
The vibe would be good. I just don't think it'll strengthen their case because I think the NRL just know what they're doing strategically. A little bit. They're not that strategic, but they'll be looking at Perth in maybe 5 years.
Good atmosphere at the ground?
Yeah, but you should. That's AFL ground though.
Yeah.
They're never as good for league. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
SCG
The worst,
sucks to watch
MCGs are
footy.
worse to watch at.
yeah, it sucks.
Scope, put yourself in the Tongan boys' shoes. Growing up in Australia, would it be hard for you right now to make a decision between heritage or state?
I think that's more
shouldn't
for
have-
Mace, wouldn't it
probably
be? Because
better question
Mace,
for Mace.
actually lived that. He grew up in Toronto. You born and
Yeah,
raised
yeah.
in Toronto, Mace?
I was born in New Zealand. I was born in New Zealand, raised in
okay.
Australia.
Yeah.
Mum's half Samoan, half Tongan. Dad was Aussie.
Fuck.
So fucking throw that in the mix.
Yeah. So you plenty of decisions to
So
make. You
yeah,
could've
there was a
gone
lot
in-
of decisions.
Yeah.
So
Did you speak to your family about it when you made decisions like that? When it come across to, or did you ask what they were?
well, when I was 18, when I got selected into the Tongan team for the World Cup, like Mum was like over the moon, you know what I mean? It was the most proud moment, like I reckon, of my career, nearly. And then the whole international game sort of stalled. You know, like there was none of these rules where, you know, all you wanted to do was play at the best level. The next year, 2 years after I got picked for Australia, the Tongan team wasn't even playing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They weren't playing in the big test. So you had guys like me and Petro and Brent Kite and all these sort of blokes, Tamana Tahu, all playing for Australia. And then you had a heap of Samoans and Tongans playing for New Zealand. Because the international game was it was just 3 nations. Australia, New Zealand, England. That was it. It was just, then they came World Cups and everything when I was playing in my prime. Because all they did was 4 nations, or 3 nations.
Yeah.
You know, we just didn't have that. We didn't have the big
Depth.
influx of Polynesians like we do now. We only had back then it was 5 to 10% of rosters. Now you're talking 60%, 65%. So it's a bit different. So playing for that and then playing New South Wales, Australia, but understanding where I'm from was always massive. So me representing Tonga at the start of my career was a highlight. You know what I mean? And then obviously I played for New South Wales in higher honours. And then by the back end, I sort of retired from rep football. So from then the game was like really pumping up.
Right now, if you were to make a decision, you're 18, 19-year-old kid, where would you think you'd flow to?
I think it'd be changing like a lot because when you were just say I had to make that decision then, you just want to play for the best. And when you're brought up in New South Wales, you want to play Origin, you want to play for Australia because they're the dreams that I had. I didn't dream of playing for New Zealand. I dreamt of playing for the All Blacks. If I was playing Union, I wouldn't play for the Wallabies.
Okay.
I'd play for the All Blacks because I looked at them as the best.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So right now, like who's the best? Australia? Do I look up to those players? It's different. Like do I affiliate myself? Do I look at like Taumalolo? I want to play for Taumalolo more. I want to play for Tonga. What money am I on? Am I on $1 million a year? You know, there's a lot of variables, little nuances that you got to make decisions on now. And I don't think there's going to be some guys that are sitting there 18, 19, or even 25 going, I don't need the pressure to play for Australia. I want to go play for Samoa because my mum's Samoan. It's going to happen. It's happening because of the Taumalolos and Fafitas of what they did in 2017. It's very powerful what they did. I don't think they understand the impact until they went back home and they just got treated like gods. They don't care about the union side in Tonga anymore. They care about Matima'a Tonga. Yeah. It's huge. So the impact that they have is massive. So if I'm a young Tongan kid, half Tongan kid, and I'm just like, you know, everything's going, you know, we just beat Australia last year. You know what I mean? Like, do I still want to play Origin? I still have that. I still have that decision, right? I can still play Origin.
Well, I think that's the easy fix now. If they
that's what I mean. Like, so I can. You're not really going to change my trajectory, whatever it is in my career. I still would have done the same thing.
Yeah.
I probably would have gone for Tonga first and went, I'm good enough. I'll end up playing for New South Wales or Australia.
If they move the calendar now and take the international window out of the middle of the year, it'd be a simple fix because you could pick Origin and Tonga versus Origin and Kangaroo. So it'd be an easy one for guys like Jerome Luai and stuff like that.
Yeah, it wouldn't be hard. I don't think it'd really change what I was thinking.
Yeah.
You know, I would represent everything because they give you a chance to do that.
Yeah. The problem is if they do what they're talking about doing and moving Tonga and Samoa into tier 1.
Yes, that'll ruin everything.
That'll ruin everything.
Yeah, don't do that.
They can't do that.
Just take away the tier system altogether.
Well, they're trying to do that in Union too. So look at the All Blacks are going, don't you dare.
With the All Blacks, pick a
Because the All
guy,
Blacks,
play him
you know
for
what I
one
mean?
test and then can't play for Samoa. So
Yeah,
they've been
that-
doing that for a long time.
It does suck for us as Kiwis as well. Like going back, we're jokes aside with the KP stuff. Like if KP, do you reckon KP would play for Australia and New Zealand if? Who do you reckon he would play for Australia and New Zealand if Origin wasn't about?
Australia.
No,
I think he'd play for New Zealand.
Well, he played because
play for New Zealand
to Mason's
Maldives.
point, he can play for the Maldives, and Australia's can have the best of both worlds. I don't think he'd need to do Kiwis or. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I think it'd be a little
Origin
bit different
and-
for Walshy because Walshy's got a Māori
He's Aussie.
mother
He's Aussie.
and an Aboriginal dad, or vice versa, one of the two. Whereas KP's parents are both Māori.
Yeah.
And the reason why I made my decision, because my old man died when I was 17, so like it wasn't really, I didn't have any guidance at 18, 19. And he was Aussie as hell, and he was like hell bent on me playing for like Australia, New South Wales. So I was like, granted his sort of wish. That was my mindset. But if I had like, if you're in a perfect world, I wouldn't know what I would choose.
It's interesting
I'd
what
choose
Talakai
everything.
said. Talakai said like he grew up in the prime, like I think he was born here in New South Wales, and he's obviously Tongan heritage, but he grew up watching Origin his whole life. And although he would love to play for Tonga, he's like
he's
the
gonna
passion of
yeah.
New South Wales, watching New South Wales and getting hammered for years.
It's just
Good on
that
him.
young, impressionable
Yeah,
age that you're
yeah.
looking at footy going, because I remember watching Bradley Clyde and Brad Fittler and Ricky Stewart and all that guys in the 90s when we dominated. I'm like, I want that. You know what I mean? So when you have those dreams when you're younger, if I dreamt of playing for New Zealand, I could have got that. I could have got the Tongan, Samoan, I could have played for fucking 4 countries. I've got 4 passports, you know that.
Yeah.
I've got 4 passports. I'm the Tongan Jason Bourne.
Willie Bourne.
Really Bourne.
Question for all 3 boys: best international bender stories or best tours that you went on off the field.
Oh, our Cook Island one in the last World Cup was like, I don't want to say names, but like 4 or 5 of the boys got arrested. Didn't get out, but it felt like a Bucks trip more than World Cup for
I think
us.
that's more the question. Best representative trip in terms of
Oh,
off
yeah.
field.
World Cups or like tours and that.
2003 Kangaroo Tours is probably the loosest of all time.
Who's the OGs of that? Is that
Craig.
Joey's part of that too?
No, Joey, like he dropped out injured, but it was like me, Minicello, like Trent Waterhouse, like Lockie.
Yeah.
It was like, I can't even, probably about 10
Who
that
else
were
would have
like
been around
22
there?
years old.
Craig Wing?
Wingy, Heggs.
Hegarty was loose.
Yeah,
eh?
man. So you got to think, this is 22-year-old me.
Yeah.
Don't worry about like a 42-year-old me. So like 20 years ago, like, and everyone was on that same buzz. It was just like, and then, so the coach goes, you don't really know each other because we're really young. A lot of senior players dropped. That's after like, 2001, all the,
So Joey and Freddie would
so
have just finished.
but like 2001 after the World Trade Center, no one wanted to travel. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they were still on that buzz. We're like, oh, no, terrorists and all that kind of shit. So a lot of young guys got picked. And the coach, Chris Anderson, goes, well, you don't really know each other. Here's a week in Barcelona. Get you to know yourself. And it was like fucking, I think I got quoted saying it was like it looks like we're on it feels like we're on a Contiki tour. All we do is get on the piss, get off buses and go to fucking countries and all that kind of shit. And then they called us the ContikiRoos. All because of my one comment after because we just got into Barcelona. So we travelled from, I think, London to Barcelona to south of France. So all we're doing was travelling.
Straight to the Rumblers?
Going absolutely bananas. Then we had to play the Ashes. And we ended up winning 3-0. And we're the first team Kangaroo Tour to win since fucking 86. Invincibles. It's a fucking joke. You ask anyone who's been on 2003 Kangaroo Tour about that whole thing.
time.
Craig Gower.
I didn't play rep footy too, by
man.
the way. I played for New Zealand Māori, so that's a little dig at me, whoever wrote that question. I think Ice wrote that in.
Oh, didn't you play rep footy?
New Zealand Māori tour, 10 days.
Still international, Cook Islands and Kiwis. Let's go.
Mace, Queenslanders calling Liam Martin a grub in the Courier Mail yesterday. I don't know if you saw it. Basically,
What?
big front page. They said that he's the one that they're targeting. It was a leaked Queensland camp to the Courier Mail. What did you make of Liam Martin?
He's a serial killer, not a grub.
Why are they calling him a grub? He just does some real.
Someone's gone through with a fine-tooth comb and found a bunch of extra efforts he's been giving them on the ground. In game one.
I think this is part of Origin. I don't think this is not like Origin 10 years ago where they're like, oh, he's a target when you can go out and punch the shit out of him, head high him, all that kind of stuff. That's gone. Liam Martin's got nothing to fear apart from a decent big hit, which you expect in Origin. So all that hoopla and bullshit that they put in papers, you can't sell it anymore because it doesn't happen.
Does he this
guy's going to get it. Yeah, he's probably going to get a decent tackle. He ain't going to get shoulder charged in the head and then get up and get the shit punched out of him. You know what I mean? Those days are gone. You're just going to get hit hard.
No, is it opposite, Mace? Are they saying he's the one that's initiating this sort of stuff?
No, Mace is
I'm just saying Liam Martin ain't got nothing. If I'm playing Origin right now, they go, oh, Mace is our target. Fucking good luck. You know what I mean? Like, what am I fearing? Like, not Petro Civoniceva or Shane Webke or Gordon Tallis trying to kill you the whole game. Tony Carroll, all these sort of blokes, like, they'll fucking hurt you. In a hit, that'll, like, they'll hit you high. And that's when get hit high. You just copped it. Unless you're clean knocked out. You know what? Liam Martin's not really going to cop a massive, massive hit because he's not really a grub. He's not a grub. He just does.
He's tough.
Because when you do little things like this, because the game is so clean, if you do anything out of the fucking ordinary, it looks like you're a grub. When the Latrell looks so aggressive, because he used to do the shit that like Justin Hodges and all that used to do. So you look at that and think it was the norm, but now the game's so cleaned up, the image is squeaky clean on the field. Then you look at it and go, oh, that looks a little bit aggressive. That looks a little, why is he rubbing his elbow in? Fucking because he can.
Couple of quick ones before we get out. Ice, rank your World Cup favourites in order. Maybe just the top three. Obviously, pretty obvious. But how do you see it finishing?
You still got Aussie to sort of
top
Aussie,
four.
Kiwi.
Get to the top four.
Yeah.
Aussie, Kiwi. You go Tonga, I reckon. I think they build over time. I think being
go the quarter final. I mean, the semi-finals and then the final. You reckon? Who do you reckon?
I reckon Fiji always go right in World Cups. I think they just get better.
England. England will be good at the back end of the year.
Nah. They've still got Wayne Bennett coaching them, eh?
No,
not anymore?
No, Sean Wayne.
Okay.
Yeah, Sean Wayne.
I don't reckon
that'll be better.
I don't reckon they'll make semis. England.
I think the four best sides will.
I reckon they'll make semis. Yeah.
No, I think the four best sides will.
I think Jackson Hastings is going to play for him, eh?
He played for him last time.
Jackson Hastings, George Williams, Herbie Farnworth's been good for him. Obviously, their pack speaks for itself. They've got Bateman.
Bateman's
Whitehead.
He's the one to get around.
Tommy Burgess. Who else? Like
Josh Hodgson will be back or no?
Luke Thompson.
England don't make the semis.
Yeah,
that's a big call.
No, they'll make the semis.
I think the finals. I think the lead up will be.
Depends
Tonga,
on the draw, right?
Tonga versus. I think yeah.
Or if they come up against New Zealand and Australia, fucking in the quarters, then
I think Tonga, New Zealand on one side, and England and Australia on the other side.
Standard.
To get into the final.
Yeah, that's a good.
Something like that.
Question from Jimmy_Reed. Is Mace scared about the lack of size on the New South Wales bench heading into this one?
Size doesn't matter anymore.
No, I don't think it really matters anymore. Otherwise, the last game we would have smacked them. You had Madison, you had Campbell Gillard, Paulo, all these big bodies where Queensland sort of manoeuvred away from contact. They were smart with the ball. They were like making our big guys moves too much. Like having a junior Paulo out there, he can still move. You know what I mean? So have a look at the body types out there. The Crichton, Talakais, Jake Trbojevic, Payne Haas, very mobile around the ruck. Luke, Isaiah Yo's tall, but he's very mobile. Cam Murray, you know what I mean? They're not big back rows.
It's a mobile pack.
Yeah, it's a very mobile pack. And even Queensland, they're not that big. I mean, Tino's a big boy. I think and Big Papa, but their back row's not big. You know what I mean? So I'm not really worried. I'm not looking at their pack going, fuck, we're undersized here. Because our last game, we were bigger than them.
Yeah.
It didn't matter.
Ice, is the Kiwis Tonga now the pinnacle of international rugby league?
See this week, eh?
Yeah, find out. I don't know.
Kiwis Tonga the pinnacle.
Kiwis versus Tonga.
It's still New Zealand and Australia until Tonga beat New Zealand and Australia consistently.
Or Samoa come up with their proper side and they take on Tonga. That's because there's a general hatred there. Yeah. That's almost like an origin hatred.
Yeah.
That's what built the international game up. Those games out of Campbelltown on the rep round.
Yeah.
The Tonga versus Samoa. I was just like, we're watching that on Saturday. You know what I mean? Or that whatever night it was. Everyone's packed out there. That's what really built that whole. From 2013, 14, 15, it built the game.
I'd like to see that now. I'd like to see a Māori side take on the Cook Islands, and then you have Tonga Samoa in this window.
Māori Indigenous, that's a really good game.
No, but I'm saying in this window. I don't think the Kiwis need to play in this window. Australia's not playing.
You want to get
I think so too. I think it should be Tonga and Samoa.
Yeah,
I honestly think it should be. I didn't even know New Zealand was going to play, but you got to give New Zealand a test.
What about Kiwis versus England?
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
That's
Too
weird.
far long way to travel mid-season.
Just go 1-1. Oh, yeah, probably
Meet in
not
Dubai.
ideal. Clubs
Meet him in
wouldn't
Dubai.
Just
like
meet in Dubai.
Yeah.
It's not even hot. You'll be sweet.
Pull the Hemi and captain's run.
See you at the tower.
Plant the seed on a Tuesday, put it on a Thursday. You're out.
Last question. This one comes from Wayside
in the
_
warm-up
J.
at the game.
Mace, is Freddie's job under risk if New South Wales lose game 2, considering the changes he's made?
Who else is there?
He'd have to. I mean, like the media will put him under the pump.
Yeah.
They just have to. You can't just lose a series and like change the team this much because you're leaving yourself out there for criticism and for potentially to get dropped. I don't think he warrants that, even if we do lose a series. But
'Cause
after next year, he'll be under the pump.
Next year you get Turbo and Latrell back.
This year, I think he's all right because of what he's done the last 4 years. But
Yeah, he's fine.
I don't think he's under. I mean, we'll win game 2 and then we get to Suncorp and think about it.
If he did get sacked, you'd fucking be stoked to be the New South Wales coach having Turbo and Latrell coming back in next year. That'll help out the case, whoever's got a fucking coach.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, that is the YKTR Sports Show, Ice.
All right.
Guys, thanks for tuning in. Like, comment, and subscribe.